Yeah, big welcome to Dr. Su Liang and Andre. Uh, so Andre, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit to the public who may not be quite as familiar with you, although maybe they have lost some games since you are quite active in the local chess circuit.
I'm not sure. I won so many games as I lost with the Singapore youngsters especially. But yeah, so welcome everyone. Andrei was born in Russia, traveled the world, lived and worked in multiple countries for the last 6, 7 years. I'm here in Singapore and enjoying work and life here and also the chess scene, the chess circuit. So FIDE master, international master in correspondence chess, a dying breed. So yeah, that's me.
And also an upcoming chess author, yeah?
Well, fingers crossed. Hopefully, yeah, this year is going to see the first book published. By the way, I cannot. Okay, shameless plug number one. There are two articles that are getting published this month in the journals. One in New in Chess, another one, okay, in Russian, which probably most of the watchers will not read, but they're also in the Russian journal at 64. So I think, given that, also adding to the entertainment during the COVID lockdown.
Great. And of course we have Dr. Su with us who has done an exhibition yesterday. So who has also kindly shared his deep insights on the coronavirus pandemic. And if you have not seen it, you can watch the replay on my on my Twitch channel or on Facebook. So, uh, Liang, I think you are a contemporary of FIDE Master Ong Chong Gi, and while of course the attention is very much on Ravindran, but what do you think of his antics in signing up for this Simul, and maybe you can share a little bit about his play in general, considering that he is by far the strongest Simul participant we have in the last for as long as I can remember in this series.
Yes, thank you. So I've known Chongi for a long time. He is, of course, a very important person. He's managing director, one of the managing directors of GIC. And I'm quite pleased that he actually found the time to come forward to play this Simul. As you mentioned, he is the strongest player by rating here, although I don't know the other players. So it may well be that there is a hidden talent amongst them that will be stronger than dinosaurs like Chongi and myself. In general, Chongi plays very enterprising chess. He likes to play deep strategic chess, though occasionally he veers off and does unsound sacrifices. That's probably why he's still a FIDE master despite his high level of play. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares against Ravindran today.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Lee Chess chat right now, and people are as usual going crazy. And yeah, Chongyi is not just trolling by signing up on the for the Saima, but also trolling Ravindran on the on the chat by saying that he should Ravi should go easy on him. But let's see what happens. Yeah, a quick while we still continue to wait for the moves to kick in. Uh, Ravi is playing extremely fast, so I think we can start commenting on the game soon. But just a quick update uh, on news. I think FIDE today has published our initiative on their website, which I've already shared through social media. So please check it out. Big shout out to FIDE. Thank you very much for the coverage, and we do look forward to further coverage of our Singapore versus Kazakhstan international match that's upcoming very soon. A lot of details will be published today, the official press release as well. So we can look forward to that. I guess we can jump straight to it. Any games that come to mind? If you're looking at the Saima now,
There
Andre.
is one board with a wonderful pawn formation from b2 to e5 and to h2 after that, the last board.
From B.
Just like, oh, he just exchanged the pawn. Oh, come on.
Okay, so that's the game against coding. Coding
It's fun.
is fun, yeah.
Yes,
Let's take a look at
yes.
that.
It
Yeah,
was just so aesthetically pleasing.
I need to do some adjustments on the channel. So if any one of you is having is facing is seeing some issues with the display or with the sound, please let me know, and I'll make the necessary adjustments. Yeah, I think we are fine. We are fine now. Yeah, this looks like a French defense. No, it's
I think
not.
it's similar to all the other games where he set a KIA-like structure. So this started off as a Sicilian, I think.
Yeah, e4, c5, d3, e6. Yeah, g3. So that there is a bit of a joke that in the past when as Ravi always responds to the Sicilian with move to d3. It is kind of his trademark, and he has been doing this for despite all of us persuading him to do otherwise, that it is not a good idea to stick to one system while playing for the country in important events. Is it's kind of important to vary your openings. But Ravi strongly believes in this system, so it's impossible to talk him out of this.
I guess if he gets good results with it, then we shouldn't complain.
Yeah, I think he made his IM title because of this is one of his main repertoire in helping him to get there. So after f4, g6, knight f3, bishop g7, castles, knight e7, c3, queen c7, bishop e3. Yeah, this is his favorite setup with this pawn on c3 and d3, knight coming to d2, bishop on e3, and his main plan is to eventually try to push d3, d4. And very often black responds with d5, and he likes to go e4 to e5, locking up the center, and then proceeds to launch a kingside attack with g4. The bishop comes to f2 in general, and maybe to h4, and so on. So this is very typical of his games actually, after being teammates with him on two separate occasions. Rook d8 plate, d4, d5, e5, yeah, f6. So this is the point when Andre was commenting about this pawn structure.
Yep.
Yeah, and you were disappointed that with e takes f6.
He couldn't wait for us, yes.
Yeah, I'm guessing that black could have even played. Sometimes they even do things like f7, f5. Yeah, the internet connection is not great today, I have to say. So yeah, f7, f5. And I'm guessing that in such cases, normally I'll take on f6 as well, because if not, you just kind of risk running into a brick wall on the king side. What do you think of these positions in general, Andre and Liang? If you have thoughts on this sort of closed structures.
Well, you have to take on f6, that's for sure. Otherwise, if you allow that it will be very difficult to break. And also, you want that e5 square for the knight. I'm still I'm not quite sure what the white plan is other than just occupying that square. Is it like g4, g5, or knight e5 and another one send it to g5 maybe? I think white is still better, just finding the next move. Interesting.
Yeah,
I find these positions very, very difficult. In general, I tend to prefer black in these positions because while there's a weakness on e6, black has quite a lot of dynamic possibilities. Ravindran has played d takes c5, and it's possible for black to not even capture back the pawn, but maybe to try for an knight f5 or an e5 break or something like that.
Yeah, I don't quite like d takes c5 to be completely honest with you. I would like to go bishop f2, maybe some rook to e1, try to apply some pressure on the e6 pawn, but of course the game
Right.
is still very complicated.
I would at least play knight f3 before that. But maybe he wants to win a pawn. Maybe he thinks like if bishop b5, he can take on b6 intermezzo, or if black just takes on c5. I don't think you can take back, right? Because of bishop b5.
Yeah, let's see what the game how the game continue. Yeah, like for instance, after bishop takes f6, I wouldn't have played knight to e5 because it kind of reduces the flexibility in terms of plans, because it means trying to apply pressure on e6 is just not so enticing anymore. I will keep the e file open. I'll go rook e1 probably and followed by bishop f2. Yeah, knight e5, there is an idea of going knight to g4, but I had some grand plans of trying to get the d2 knight to g4 somehow. Yeah, but knight e5 was played. Knight b6.
But now you can't take on b6, can you?
Yeah, dc5, knight f5 played.
And you
Yes.
can take cb, ab, and okay, claim you have a pawn and do something with that.
Yeah, but this position is actually not so easy to play for white. Yeah, cb6, a takes b6, and generally I'll prefer to take white, but I'll be a little bit worried about the potential d5 d4 opening up the position.
You have to do it right away. I mean, like if you just take cb, ab, let's say bishop f2, and after that, if white is allowed one move in knight f3, he'll be better. He'll be better, no doubt. Not just the pawn. I think aesthetically better. So we need to do like g4 right away. But I'm not sure how much is that.
Yeah, because ordinarily when you make a pawn push like d5 d4, you always need to watch out for knight to e4. But in this case, the rook is nicely placed on d8, so I kind of agree that d5 d4 is sort of quite critical. Covalent Potatoes is commenting that Liang is commentating and he's amazed.
But I shouldn't be idling here commenting on chess.
No, you are contributing to the initiative, the donation drive against to help struggling families. So I'm also pretty sure that it must be very tiring to have to deal with the medical side of things all the time.
It's a nice break, indeed.
Yeah, I can completely imagine. Yeah, after bishop f2, yeah, I feel like d4 seems critical. I don't know.
Yes.
Yep.
Looks.
I think let's get back to that game later on and see what happens. I think there is also 11 other games. Maybe we should switch another one.
I've already saw that there's one win. So.
Oh, that was
yeah,
fast.
Against Warder 3. Warder. Let's take a look at trying to look at the player list now. Yeah, Warder 3 is Alex George Kwa. So e4 e5. Yeah, this is a real pass. Also another one of Ravi's staple openings. Yeah, c3, bishop e7. I think the move is, if I'm not wrong, is to go d6 here, but I'm not a big expert on this variation of the Riddle pass. I think they go d6, white goes d4, he goes he goes bishop b6. Yeah, not entirely sure. So let's look at the game. Bishop a7 played d4, d6, bishop d5. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess after knight d5 should be critical. E d5, knight to a5. I didn't like so much.
I would go on e7. Yep.
Yeah, knight has to go to e7, I think. And with the point after d5, d5, and knight takes e5 is not quite a free pawn because d5 is hanging at the end of the line.
And you don't even have to take it right away. You can, I think, castle before.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to defend it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think knight a5 is a mistake. It just loses a pawn. After de5, bishop g4, e d6, e d6, rook e1 check. Yeah, king d7 is a brave move to
That's very polite.
to put it mildly. Yeah, because now he gets hit by the tactical move, knight to e5 followed by queen to g4, and then yeah, essentially
Everything
the
is
game.
falling apart.
Yeah, the game is over after this.
Mm.
As much as he did, he would hit you know, as much as it's difficult to play this, he should go king f8.
Yeah. No, after king f8, there is still some play in the position. You still have that bishop on h7.
Yeah, I'll
you
go
can
bishop.
get the knight back.
I'll probably go bishop e3, and should still be quite easy for. I guess maybe bishop takes e3, rook takes e3, and knight to c4 with some chances.
Not much, but at
Yeah.
least the game goes on.
Yeah, after king d7, knight e5, king c7, knight takes g4. Okay, white is a piece up, and Ravi is
And
too
then another
strong.
piece up.
Yeah, Ravindran is too strong to just give. Yeah, and he loses second piece and the game is over. So, very good start to the Simul for Ravi. So I think it's time to take a look at the game with Chongi, the self-proclaimed small potato, as he.
Okay, you want me to talk a bit about what I'm trying to do or what I'm
That's-
not trying to do?
That's great. That's great.
Okay.
Please, let this be a confession box.
Well, obviously, it's not a mainstream opening, so white has some advantage here. But at least it's double-edged, and there should be 3 possible results out of a position like this.
Wow.
I'm trying to keep as much pressure on the F file so that he cannot play, King H1, F3, and try and consolidate. In the meantime, I retain the option of playing Rook E8 or Rook F8, depending Rook E8, and potentially pushing E5 as well. So we'll see. Obviously, white should be slightly better, but the game is not over yet.
I have never seen you play this opening all my life, and on Lee Chess, Chongi. What made you choose this opening?
It's called the Accelerated Schwarzenegger, which Junior has written a book about, and I used to play it when I was younger. I thought maybe let's try it one move earlier and see if there are any differences.
No, in general, Chongi likes to thrust his F pawn forward. So after I remember that when I was a kid, when Dr. Su held a series of training sessions for the junior players at the SAF. So I think I was something like 14, and I remember these lessons like it was yesterday. So I know Chongi's lecture back then was about how to defend worst positions. Which was kind of, I mean, thinking of it now that he's commenting about defending is a little bit funny, but anyway, I remember that after the session, he came to interact with all of us, all these kids, and then one knight c6 was kind of like my main line back in those days, and I asked him a question on what to do after e4 knight c6, and if white goes knight f3, black goes d6. White responds with h3 on move 3, and I asked him how black is supposed to develop his pieces, and his immediate response was, you go f5 now on move 3 and play aggressively. So that made a considerable impression on me. I don't know if Chongi remembers this, but I still remember this
No, I
clearly.
don't. I don't remember it. So now I'm thinking maybe move like rook e8, right? Because I want to try and get my backward pawn no longer backward. So rook e8, and if he plays knight f3, I'm thinking possibly even e5, and just sacrifice the pawn. It's hard to say. I can even take this f2 at the end. Yeah, so this is a tough position. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna start thinking. You guys go ahead and talk about the other boards.
Yeah. Mute your speaker. So yeah, this is an interesting position, but I don't know. To my eye, it feels like black is comfortable here. But
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Despite starting with such a crappy opening, he has defended quite well.
Maybe because of. I mean, if you're a Simul giver, right, and you're meeting that over the board, I mean, you don't challenge that straight away, do you?
yeah, it is. Like, firstly, if I'm a master, a Simul master, and I see this position over the board, my immediate thought is, this guy is trolling me, and I will try to punish him. And yeah, after d4, bishop f5. Yeah, I suspect that you should go as critical, as direct as possible. Maybe if I move like bishop e5, followed by knight to e5.
No, I don't think there is like a clear reputation. I remember it used to be popular when I was playing in Germany when I was living there, and there were a couple of folks that were playing that in serious terms. Like I remember there was international master Ilya Schneider. He used to play that all the time in the Open and scoring enormous amount of points against the lower ranked opponents. Like, and I remember he was like sharing some of that theory, like bishop d5 is what people usually do, try to kind of double the pawns on c6, which is basically kind of also what happened here. But it's surprisingly resilient for such a crappy opening.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we see other games? And we'll see how Chongyi continues to strategize.
Okay, let's go back to the main page. Any other game that looks interesting? I see a funny pawn structure against Claw Singapore?
Clausinator?
Clawsinator.
Yeah.
Clawsinator, of course. Yeah, let's take a look. So once again, we have this pawn structure with a pawn wedge on the e5 square.
And this time black succeeded in blocking the stuff, but not perfectly. I wonder what happens if black manages to get the knight on e6. I would rather play black in that case, frankly speaking.
Yeah,
I
so
would probably do exactly that, like I know rook e8, knight f8, or something like that, or something to that effect. Oh, bishop c8. Oh, that's a blunder.
yeah, bishop c8 is kind of not something you want to do this early in the Simul. Yeah, I mean, coming back to Andre's point about putting a knight on e6. Yeah, I think especially in this particular situation when the g pawn no longer exists, having the knight on d6 to serve as a blockade could prove to be very useful, because now black is the one who has the potential pawn break on the king side. So in some situations, even with like in the Grunfeld with the white pawn on d5, people always want to put the knight on d6, but even that does not automatically mean equality. because of pawn breaks on the queen side. But in this case, without any pawns on the G file, severely limits White's ability to generate play. So I tend to agree if Black manages to maneuver the knight to e6, he should be quite comfortable. But yeah, Bishop c8 was not a step in the right direction at all. So,
Yeah.
it
Should have
takes,
played Queen C7, I guess.
yeah,
and
Queen
then just
c7 followed by
very
knight to
quickly.
maybe knight to d8, followed by
Yeah.
knight e6.
I was even thinking like maybe even knight b6, try to force the issue on queen side first, like forcing like a5 or 8 xb, and then like simply retreating. I think that would be great for Black.
That's
Man.
typical Russian style, yeah. Deep maneuvering
No, I mean,
and
yeah, but it's like Black is the only one who can change the character of the position after that. I really don't see how White would even, threaten anything there. It's like G5 is the only pawn push that makes sense in that position.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah, Bishop c8 was unfortunate. We'll be curious to know if this is a mouse slip. A takes b5 plate, and yeah, I expect this game to actually now the position is completely ruined for Black.
Yeah, it will probably not last too long.
Yeah, d5 and c4 will come under pressure eventually, because with a move like rook a5, yeah, the White's play is too simple now.
That's unfortunate.
Okay, let's go back to the main page. I see an endgame against Pretty Viraj. So that game against Clausinator was against Klaus Lucas Yo. And yeah, let's look at the game against. Yeah, I don't have his.
Yeah, I hate to say this, right, but I think Ravi is doing much better than Liang was yesterday.
Oh yes, that's clearly the case.
He's playing faster and he seems to be better on almost all boards.
He has more time and less opponents, don't forget that.
He's also younger than Liang.
You now have to worry about disproportionate punishment.
No, it's fine. It's true that Ravi has a much harder opponent than any of my opponents yesterday.
than anyone has faced in this entire series, I think. I wouldn't say in the list of simultaneous exhibitions in Singapore, because our good friend here has played, an international master has played as a participant before. So
that's right, against a FIDE master to boot.
Yeah, Psycho Taki is commenting that the IM is so strong. I'm presuming that she meant Dr. Suliyang.
No, it's Ravi that she's talking about.
Yeah, let's look at the game.
Such an interesting move. Doesn't that allow me to get in my desired break?
Okay, so
let me think. I'll go.
no, I thought you were going to share comments, which is why I flipped back to your board, and then.
Yeah, it allows me to even play e5 immediately. Takes, pawn takes 9. Queen moves. Takes again. It looks okay for me. Or I can even pull back my bishop to e6. And then it's not obvious how you stop e5 after that. So it gives me two pretty interesting options, which is always the best way to make a person spend a lot of time. So psychologically, I must say d4 may be a stronger move than it looks on the board.
So are you psychologically distraught, or do you leave? Do you save that? Or do you only experience that against somebody who uses mind control?
Yeah, I mean, after having played Liang so many times before, I must say I've gotten used to such psychological mind games. So, yeah, it's bad, but I've had plenty of training. Even in
Yeah, B4 is an interesting move. And we'll come back to this game once. But Chongyi, you are short of time, so I'm not supposed to be,
right short of time. Oh, okay, we play.
I'm not supposed to be giving you any form of hints. But
Yes.
let's
Let me
let's
play.
give for your effort in joining the commentary. Let me give you this one one
In the
liberty.
past, the arbiters were allowed to remind about the time control. Like in the 50s and the 60s, before a few moves, like they could remind, like, hey, you need to make the time control.
Like, how do you know all these things? Like, Andre, you're not in you don't live there at the time.
Because I'm writing about the 50s and 60s. Guess why?
Okay, E5 played by Chongyi. Okay, I'm looking at the game against Amos Lee. It feels like White is just cruising there. Let's look at the game against Amos Lee. Ravi has a strong knight on F6, and he's going to take on H5. I think the game is more or less over.
Yes.
So
It wasn't really like I didn't feel like it was really going all that well for White. I'm not sure about D5 in the opening. Before that, I felt the Black were doing really fine because
yeah,
exchange on the 4, bishop for the knight. I don't think it's all good for White.
Yeah, so this knight takes e4 tactic was I kind of explained a few times on chat, but I've seen it. I still see it resurfacing every now and then. So a typical example of this is after e4 e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6. Knight c3 is kind of acknowledged as an imprecise move because of knight takes e4, and after knight takes e4, black goes d5, winning the piece back and having kind of being the first person to establish a pawn in the center as compared to white. For example, after bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, black has a pawn on e5 as compared to white's d pawn, which remains on d2. So black sort of used the same motive with knight takes e4, but in this particular instance, he kind of gotten the bishop pair in exchange of having the need to castle by hand, as I think we say, because now the king is on f7. Rook f8 played. I think eventually king g8 is in order. Yep, king g8 played, queen b3, king h8. So Olympio Akan is saying that Ravi's strategy is pretty clear. He demolishes everyone else quickly and then deal with the FM and his dog.
That's a good plan if you can do it.
That's quite funny. Yeah, I tend to agree with Andre. I think black seems to be fine because unless he has something concrete on the king side, for example, if h4, h5, black eventually takes over in the center with, for example, with a move like knight c6, maybe e5, the bishop comes out to f5. So white played knight to e5. Yeah, or maybe I was wrong because knight e5 seems to be quite a strong move.
No, I didn't like d5. I was actually thinking that was like the beginning of the downfall. I was thinking like something like e6 instead. E6, then I know h6, push it back.
Yeah, after e6. Yeah, but you kind of risk the e6 pawn being a weakness in the future, so maybe
you will never get there.
let's say let's say I go castles. I threaten to take the pawn now.
Well, queen f6, h6, something like that. No.
Queen f6. I go rook to e1.
Oh, I still have more pieces than you on that side, don't I? Rook e8.
Yeah, but it is a little bit awkward for black actually. So
It is.
yeah, I can go bishop d2. If you go h6, I go knight e4. It's sort of similar to some Dutch.
Yeah.
I think knight c3 on move 2 against the Dutch. It's kind of similar to that, I guess. But in this case, like white has a clear plan of like doubling on the e file, so maybe I was wrong. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Maybe something like, I don't know, queen e8. I don't know, just like it doesn't feel like it should work for white, but maybe it does.
No, I understand where you're going with this, because it feels like knight takes e4 is sort of typical, and generally white doesn't allow this. But this position in particular feels to me that at this point I haven't seen anything convincing that black could do.
Maybe we shouldn't allow knight g5 in the first place. That's maybe that's
Yeah, it's kind of
instead of play h6 at some point of time and just then go back. I don't know. I mean, maybe I was over optimistic about black chances.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe h6 now, but very easy to say this on hindsight, because h6 is not a move that you want to play at this point with the king still on f7 and the queen side being so undeveloped as it is. So
sure.
Queen b3, e6. I don't know, but eventually, yeah, in this position after knight to e5, bishop e5, d e5, c4. Yeah, this position looks very dangerous for white now, I think. For black, I mean. Yeah. King to g8 takes. Yeah, and now queen h3, nice move. Queen d7, bishop e3. Now rook d1 is coming. Queen g7. He played long castle, which is even better, I guess. Rook d2, h6, knight to e4. Yeah, now the position is just lost. You take, white goes g4, etc, etc, etc.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here.
I'm kind of impressed with Ravi's speed, considering he has not played competitively for the last, I don't know, 5 years.
You know, the last chance for black maybe in that game, I would advise instead of 16 queen d7, just take on g5. Take the knight, and you can take the pawn on e5, maybe with a knight, not with a queen. Like take on g5, queen knight c6, knight e5. Maybe there is a game still.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Rook to g5 should have been played. I would even argue that white probably should not have allowed this. But
I think white is still much better after that, because like it's hard to, like, you can castle, maybe then get doubled on f file. The dark squares are horribly weak. No, it's probably still very bad. But
yeah, white castles, the king is cut off from the f file. It's probably still completely lost. Yeah, let's head back to the main page and see if we have other games that are interesting. I see the game against KC Ko, and then that's Bernadette Kong. Bernadette seems to be a pawn up, but she's under some pressure, I think. That's the third game on the first row.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we have a Grunfeld pawn on d5. And it's e4, c5, d3. So Ravi is very consistent with his opening choice.
On that board, I think white is threatening bishop c5, right? So like maybe something like, I don't know, rook c2, and then you have to play bishop a3, and then maybe bishop f4. Might not survive there with black.
Or maybe you can play bishop c5 straight away even.
Maybe even straight away, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Because if you capture the rook, there's no time for black to capture the rook on c1.
You can. No, you have to find bishop, queen d7, bishop takes f8, bishop c1, and I think that's still works. But it's horrible. Actually, if you just continue, like take on c1, queen a3 check, d6, no, it's probably done.
Yeah, I'm getting comments that the video is a bit slow, and I'm seeing the same regarding the fact that there's notification about skip frames once again. So sorry for that. I have no idea why this is so, because my connection is seemingly fine on my end. Yeah, coming back to the game. Yeah, I think what Andre and Dr. Su was suggesting was the move bishop c5. Black goes queen to d7 because there's an immediate need to defend the f7 pawn. There's also queen g6, which defends the f7 pawn. Let's go queen g6, and if bishop f8, bishop to c1.
No. After that, maybe rook b1 after queen g6. Isn't that better?
Because there's no. So here. Then maybe after queen d7 you can go rook to b1 as well.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So this kind of kind of works for me. Yeah, initially we were talking about after queen d7, bishop takes f8, bishop c1. There's even bishop takes g7, which also kind of looks crushing.
Yeah, I think it's probably lost for black.
Maybe the only move after bishop c5 is queen c7. It looks really ugly though.
That's your signature, yeah? As Chonggi would say. Yeah, this looks very interesting. But I don't know about bishop takes f8, bishop c1, and d6.
Yeah, d6 looks crushing. You're right.
Queen b6 check, king h1, bishop e6, I don't know. But yeah, looks very dodgy. Very, very dodgy. So I think against this setup, it's worth pointing out that there are a few ways to sort of get a good position by putting the bishop on the long diagonal is sort of the acknowledged way to play against these close Sicilian sort of structures. Because you want to generate counterplay on the queen side when white goes on with his usual f4, knight f3, and some hopes for a kingside attack. You want to go g6, bishop g7 to sort of create counterplay on the queen side, and as well to sort of establish a stronger defensive setup on the king side. So I've seen a few games now today where black has gone e5 and then putting the bishop on e7, which is not a good square for the bishop in this case. Liang, when you play the French and when white goes the King's Indian setup, do you have a special way to deal with it, or?
I don't think it's anything special. What I tried to do was what I think Ivanchuk played before as well, which is to convert it into a scotch. You know, if it plays e5, e6, d3, then knight c6 comes.
So
and
sorry,
then
e4, e6, d3?
And then knight c6.
e4, e6, d3, knight c6.
Yes.
On move 2.
Yes.
Whoa, okay.
And if white plays knight f3, then black can play e5. And then you ask whether the pawn should be on d3.
So this is like a reverse Philidor, yeah?
It can be a reverse Philidor, yes.
So, which is also an opening that you are very familiar with, I think. Liang is kind of like a master of dodgy openings, and
yes, indeed.
He has beaten many good players with openings like the Scandinavian, the Philidor, and what's the other one? There's one more opening that you kind of made famous by beating a GM. But anyway,
I remember there was a book recently that advocated Philidor both for white and for black as an opening, so like you don't have to learn to opening.
Yeah, in all my Banter Blitz sessions, I at least get 3 games with the Philidor when I start with e4. So there's something to be said about this opening, especially if you start with the move order e4, d6, d4, knight f6, knight c3, e5. And
yeah,
you
don't have to think much.
Not so easy to get an advantage against this, and in many cases black even takes over. So
and you do so many moves without thinking. Like
Yeah,
knight e7, bishop e7, c6, queen c7, b6, a6.
that's right. Very easy to play for Blitz. Okay, let's go back to the main page and see.
Shall we see the end game you were about to comment on with Pretty Viraj? It looks like an interesting rook endgame that's
3, 4,
on the
5,
board
6.
now.
Yeah, so it looks like looks pretty even to me.
Hmm.
Because
Wow, I think it was much better for white at some point, but
maybe it's still, I don't know. I mean, you can try to go b5, but it's sort of pushing it.
It's risky, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And
shall we calculate b5 and what?
rook d4,
Rook d4.
Rook d4, knight c3,
king c3.
king c3, king c3.
Yeah.
Probably another check. I don't think you can take on f4, can you? Because like b6 and it might be too far.
Yeah.
No, I think b5 deserves.
Yeah, b5 is definitely the only winning try in this position now. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like white has some chances here now, because the fact that the king is cut off on the last rank means that if white ever gets his pawn on b7, he's just winning.
Yeah, but you couldn't do anything else, right? You couldn't go forward because then everything on f7 rank would fall.
Yeah, that precisely. So in order for this to work, black has to take on b5 and then get back in time on the king side to take pawns, so that he can give up the all the pawns
Maybe
on the 7th. But maybe we should,
after b5.
yeah.
Maybe after b5, I think black should play rook b4 instead of taking the pawn. And,
Yeah, I was
and
also
save
thinking
the
about that.
Yeah, and rook b7.
Rook b7 and then rook
And
takes
then do the
d4
same.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you block it one rank.
Yeah, this is very clever.
Yeah.
I go king c3. I have sort of forced, and
you can probably even take the f4 pawn now, I think.
yeah, and then you march the king over to the queen side. The rook
Yes.
defends f7 quite ably. The king is cut off. You can't proceed. Yeah, so why rook b4 is sort of important is because if you have taken on d4 followed by taking on f4, white goes b6, and you're too slow, I think, because after king d8, I go rook a8 check, king to d7 and b7, and white wins.
Yep.
So
Yes.
so that's the legend demonstrating his expertise, his intuition on rook endgames, which I mentioned earlier, in yesterday's channel, that he's sort of an expert on.
That's rubbish, and you know it. But it's
But
quite
it was
interesting
selfish.
endgame.
Yeah, rook to b7 looks. So Olympia is saying that after b6, black has rook c4. I go
b3 probably.
king to b3, I guess.
You can probably still. No, it doesn't work.
And the problem is that black's king can't get to the 7th, because if the pawn is on b7, then there's always rook a8.
No. Wait a
and
second.
sort of-
Maybe there it works. Like rook c6,
b7.
b7, king d8, and you don't. Oh no, I'm not.
No, I
check.
just no. What do you mean? I promote. So
No. I first check on b6 and then go rook d8, king d8.
king d8. Why not? Or maybe after where's the line? After rook b6, I probably have to go king a4.
I still do the same, obviously. And then
Yeah.
what?
King
King
d8,
a5,
king a5.
and you threaten. Oh, you want to do on a6 and then rook a8, rook c8, something like that.
I don't know what
Oh,
I
but
want
I-
exactly.
No, but I have checks from behind. No, I just go down, and you cannot go king a6 because I start checking you. I don't think you get anywhere.
No, I don't
You
get
can
anywhere because after king a6, actually black just goes king c7 and it's fine. At the
Okay, then even easier. Yeah.
at the very minimum. So
Yeah, and I think that's actually best because otherwise you would be able to get your king to d6 and then I would lose. Yeah, king c7 is good.
yeah, but still, I mean, there is some life in this endgame.
For sure, and you can still play b5, and even if, like, let's say black plays rook b4, you can, I mean, in the worst case, you can just give the pawn back on b, so you're not risking anything. So
Yeah, but definitely this is a good way to try to complicate matters, but and he has a fair bit of time to try to calculate this.
also we did see rook b4, rook b7, rook d4. That's what has been played.
So pretty Viraj is
Doing all the right moves.
yeah. So far he's doing great.
But it's a tricky thing to play with 8 minutes, so we'll see.
Ravi is having fun. He's just blitzing his moves. He has 1 hour 10, so
He has a lot of time.
yeah, he can calculate this for as long as he wants, I guess. Yeah, king to b3, I suppose will come. And yeah, I'm not sure whether rook takes f4 is even a legitimate winning attempt. Because now I actually march my king over to the queen side, and then black is even a pawn up. So somebody is pointing out that the game against coding is fun, is interesting because Ravi is a piece down.
It was, but not anymore. It's actually, I don't know what happened, but I remember watching it, and black was up a bishop, and now it's a dead drawn rook endgame with equal material.
Okay, so this rook endgame I can play. Pretty sure that this is a draw now against Matthew Khan.
What happened? I think, like, so we did play d4 that we discussed. Maybe we should start from that point, 18th move.
Yeah, we stopped at this position. Yeah, and we said that the d4 was important, and it was played. White played c4, bishop g2, king g2, and knight to e3, winning a piece. So
okay.
yeah, ouch.
That's bad.
And for Ravi to even come back from this is, I have to say, it's no mean feat. Rook a1, rook a2, b3, and yeah, he's just a clean piece down with no compensation.
That was resignable at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black is just exchanging pawns, which he really shouldn't have been doing so, especially because now he has two pawns.
Pawn as well.
Yeah, he has a wrong pawn because now he needed the pawn to be on, say, on the A file, where the queen in square is the same color as the dark square bishop. But now that the pawn, the queen in square is h1, which is a different color, so white just has to change the g pawn and the e pawn, and it will be a theoretical draw after the exchange of rooks, or even keeping rooks on.
But still, like, still an extra bishop, you could play that forever. But then on move 35, but just
that's bizarre. That's just bizarre. A complete oversight, and now it's just drawn. This game shouldn't carry on anymore. For much longer at least. So coding is fun. It's probably not having a lot of fun now, given the fact that it's just threw away a winning position. Okay, Ravi is checkmating aimlessly. He's mate in one. His loads of material up against. I don't know how to pronounce this. Can either of you assist me? Against something Pifan 113.
Gepi fun.
Maybe we should look at the game on the first board. Awesome. It looks like a very interesting end game. Bishop versus knight. Equal material.
Yeah, and after this we should we should go back to our the game with Chongi, which the game has developed quite significantly as well. So once again, e4 c5 d3 played. Yeah, so this is something like a king against the king's Indian attack in the French defense. The usual setup in that structure. But normally the pawn is on f2, and white's bishop is on f4. So that's kind of like the main difference. Yeah, as you can see, Ravi's play is very consistent. He goes knight to e5 and he takes on c6. Yeah, I don't like the move d4. Like, what would the Russians say, Andre? Like giving away the c4 square.
Yeah, that would be.
Would they be
I wouldn't want to
excommunicated
show
or
to
what?
I wouldn't want to show to my coach after this move. But I'm not sure. It's actually like after that, white allowed e5. So again, like I'm not sure. After that, that doesn't look that bad. So, but I mean, somewhere before that, black should have played e5 on their own, like before, instead of bishop d7. I think I don't see the point of bishop d7. Just play e5 and try to exchange backward pawn.
Yeah, I agree. I like e5. I like e5. Very thematic. Opens up the bishop.
Also creates like knight g4 as a threat for black. So no, I think that wasn't fine at this point.
Yeah, e5 seems nice. Seems like a nice way to get counterplay. Yeah, bishop d7 is a sort of automatic moves that you make in blitz. Maybe with the idea of doing the French maneuver of going to h5, but in this case it doesn't work as effectively as just opening up the diagonal. So yeah, knight c4, rook e8.
I don't like h3.
I don't like h3 either. There is a case to be made for knight to e5 now, stopping this e5 pawn push.
Yeah, why should that?
I think knight to e5 is good. I feel it just stops e5 for now, and then you have a bit of time to hope for queen d2, rook e2, and rook a e1, and then you can decide whether you want to move the knight elsewhere. But okay,
You can do something else.
at the same time you have to worry about knight to g4, so maybe queen to f3. I don't know. Black's knight is probably coming to d5, so
It's not doing much.
it doesn't do much. Yeah, but you don't want to put your queen on f3 because of that. So a lot of concrete specifics that you need to consider. But I feel like knight to e5 was a must. But even so, after h3, e5 takes everything. White is still maybe a bit better. Yeah, better pawn structure.
Yes. I think it's probably. I feel like white a bit undersold the advantage somewhere there. I don't know, it's something like queen a5.
Yeah, queen
24.
Queen a5 is definitely something that I would play. Putting pressure on all these pawns, just being an annoying presence on the queen side. There's always some ideas of going to d8. So I imagine, for example, queen to a5, black goes queen e7, just covering squares, maybe hoping for queen to e2, and then white just goes bishop f3, king g2, g4, and just slowly improve.
You can do it even faster. You can play like, I don't know, maybe even c3. Try to open the position for bishops. You want the bishop on f2 to get into the game, and also attack c5. Or maybe b4, I don't know.
So you're saying b3 and try to maneuver the bishop over to a3?
No, c3 to kind of d takes c, and then c5 hangs, and it's hard to defend it. Or b4, b2, b4, just kind of attack it directly, and like if cb, bishop d4, bishop is great in the center, fantastic position.
Yeah, this is the kind of typical motif in the Rosalimo with double c pawns. You go queen a5, maybe a3 before. Even though you sort of allows him to undouble his pawns, but the d4 pawn becomes quite critically weak. So there is some clamoring on the chat to look at the game against the very strong FIDE master Ong Cheong-gi. So
They like the live commentary.
we have to look at it, I think. Okay, so we are standing at 2-0. Great start by Ravi. That's the thunder is an indication that the retribution is coming for the grand hacker. So apparently on move 28 there was a tactic. I'm presuming it's at was it after h5 or sorry king h2 h5. I'm presuming that after rook d2 there was a tactic that was available on for black, I think. I'm assuming, or was it for white? Olympio, do you want to elaborate so that we look at the position that is relevant? Yeah, queen e5 and queen g5 wins on the spot, I think. Or queen g5 and followed by rook takes g2.
If white
But
plays
there's
something like g3.
There's g3.
G3?
Yeah, and then maybe you take and you go h4. Rook takes d2 and h4, I think.
No. I think you can even do something like rook g3.
Yeah, rook g3 wins. Yeah, that's very nice. Because
if you take on a 2 rook e3 check, I think kills it.
yeah, basically queen e5. Let's say king to h1. You can go queen g5, but there's queen takes g6, which would come as a rude surprise for the very strong FIDE master Ong. But yeah, here the simpler way is to go rook takes d. Sorry, how do you do this? Rook takes g2, of course, threatening queen h2 mate, and after king g2, queen g5, and then followed by taking the d2 rook. And the other line that Andre rightly pointed out was after g3, black has rook takes g3. And there is no sensible way of capturing on e2 because in all cases black responds with rook e3 with a discover attack, and then you take some material over here. So for example, queen takes e2, rook e3, and f4, and rook takes e2 comes with check. So
that's important point.
Very
nice tactic.
Very nice tactic. So yeah, great spot
Probably
by
our
Olympio Akan.
Probably our FIDE master was short of time and he didn't see this tactic.
Very kind of you. I think Cheong-gi will appreciate it.
It's a tricky thing. It's a very tricky thing.
No, it's not easy to see. I have to say, it's not easy at all. Yeah, queen e5, very nice tactic. Beautiful. But
so what's the position evaluation now?
Now the current position, black has.
I still feel it's better for black.
Yeah, black is definitely for choice. I think there's no question. The question is, how easy is it to formulate the breakthrough?
If black had more time, I would say that like they would be very good winning chances because you have all the time in the world. Play something. You have the only open line that matters. Play d4. Play after that like rook e3, maybe with some prep. d4, queen d5, another rook on e file. I mean, okay, it's not that easy at all, right? You can also push f5, f6.
Yeah, I think the main issue is that black's position is sort of optimized at this point because the rook is nicely placed on f6. You can go to g6, maybe e6, and then the rook is a monster piece on e4. The queen arguably can go to e7 to try to attack the c5 pawn, but not much of a difference there. And then whatever you do from now on will inevitably give some kind of counterplay for white, whatever you do,
True.
because white also can do stuff like rook to b2, give some checks. So there
No,
is
I think black
some chances.
white needs to keep the rooks, both the rooks on f5 because the pawn is kind of hanging, and maybe play rook f3 to rook f3, another rook to f2.
Yeah, which kind of means that the rooks sort of have to remain in these positions to keep an eye on f4. And if ever he goes somewhere else, then white can think of doing something active with his rooks. But it feels like the plan now for white is to be passive and try to hold without doing anything that compromises his position.
I actually like your proposal of queen e7 because there is no easy way for white to defend the pawn on its c5, right? Like what, rook a3, rook c3, you play bishop, rook c4, and you win it, right?
Sorry, I missed that bit. What do you?
Rook, if you go queen e7 with black on the next move, how white is protecting the pawn on c5? It's not easy. Queen c3 doesn't work because of rook c4, so you have to go all the way to queen a3, which is unnatural, or you can play rook c1 because f4 hangs. So it's not so easy.
Yeah, no, it's not easy at all. That's for sure.
And after that, if you, let's say, like you play queen e7, white goes rook, queen a3, then you can start pushing like d4, rook e3 because nothing is hanging. I don't know, like feels like practical chances.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what I would do if I'm black. Maybe just queen e7 and then rook c4 and just grab the pawn. But okay, what is white to play? Hard to tell what he's supposed to do. It's not a pleasant position for white, that's for sure. Maybe queen d1 with the idea of queen h5, trying to take the pawn off. How will you defend this position, Dr. Su, the expert on defending worst
It's
positions?
very difficult.
Yeah.
I thought I would actually play queen f3 with the same idea to go to h5.
White just played king h1, like a passing move.
Yeah, king h1 played rook f5, replied almost instantly.
Which also makes sense, right? I mean, we can also try to attack it from the other side, d4. I don't know, it feels unpleasant for white, deeply unpleasant.
Yeah.
I thought the problem with queen d1 earlier was that you could just drop the f pawn.
And then queen to e5.
Queen e5, yeah.
But there's g3. Maybe g3.
e3 captures is a check, right?
Yeah, king g3, g5, queen g4.
And g5 and queen g4.
Yeah. But I think black is winning there actually because
that trade, yes.
The
yes.
d5,
the protected pass pawn.
yeah, protected
yes.
pass pawn and it wins.
Yeah.
So for the benefit of everyone, this is another endgame class, master class from Dr. Su.
Oh, come on.
Queen
It's
to
only a
d1.
tactic.
No, but it shows something. After takes, queen e5, g3, takes, g5, queen to g4, takes. And now the fact that this pawn is a protected pass pawn means that the white king has to stay. Do they call it the square? I don't know. You know, white's king has to be around to make sure that this pawn doesn't get frisky and promotes, and black has a lot of time to march up the board, capture on h3, and then win the position. So the only question is whether, for example, after king f7, does white has time to go king d6, king takes c6? Because if he does, then, but I don't think he does. So here takes here. Yeah, he's way behind. Okay, I wouldn't say way behind. He's one tempo down. And after c7, queen comes back to d7 in time, or whatever, queen c1. So this is the what we were trying to say. So queen d1, rook e4, rook f4 wins on the spot. It appears.
I'm not sure about that. Like, what if white stays passively? Like, I'm standing next to my h pawn. So how do you win that?
Yeah. So let's see what happens after this. You go king f5. I guess so.
No,
yeah. You just maintain the opposition. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe after king f4, you have to be a bit clever.
I don't think you can win it. I mean, like, even let's say if you consider like the worst variation for white, let's say I'm going all the way back with my king to g2 and saying king g2, king h2, right? How do you win that? You cannot take the pawn and c5 because you'll be out.
No, I go king f4 and I win.
How?
And I just push d4. Because if
after that, I'm going to.
Depending where your king is, yeah. If your king is on h2, then it just wins after d4. I think.
I'm not sure. How?
So if your king is on h2, my king is on f4.
No, I mean, okay, like h2 is like h2 is like if your king is on the h4. Otherwise, I'm saying, let's say, I don't know, somewhere f2, for example. Right?
Yeah, f2 is what you should try to do. What you should be trying to stay on. Yeah, I think you make a very fair point, because not so easy for black to gain access to the h3 pawn if white just stands firm. I guess I can go king to, after king e4, he goes king e2. Yeah, I'm trying to calculate it. So if black king is on e4, white king goes to e2. I think that's sort of important. And then I need to establish some form of zugzwang, because with my king on f4, your king on f2 is actually sort of zugzwang. So, oops. So we were trying to say, let's for argument's sake, let's say this position, king to f2, and now it's black to play. But if it's white to play, I think black wins. And yeah, this looks like a zugzwang to me. Because king g2, I go king to e3, and I think black wins. Hard to say.
But okay, let's say black plays king e4, king e2, king g4. Can I do that?
And do you have time? After h4, you go back to e4.
Yes, I'm trying to win it now.
But I realized that the original idea doesn't quite work, actually. Because instead of because after rook takes f4, queen e5 instead of g3. If white plays queen g4,
yeah, now I see queen. Now I see queen g4. Yeah.
Yes. Then it defends against all the threats. And in fact, white is winning.
G5 and
g5,
wait.
Queen c8 check.
And then at least a draw, yeah. I
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, it's very close to losing actually, because king h7, queen f5.
Yes. And king g7, queen f8 check.
And even wins, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it makes all the discussion about pawn endings to kind of a moot point, but anyway, it's still an interesting endgame to discuss.
That was fun. Okay, what happened while we were discussing the theoretical points is that
Ravi has won the pawn. Like, he has taken on a7.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly became very sharp.
Yeah. And I think I sort of know what Chongi wants. Okay, obviously he wants to take on c5, and then he gets connected pass pawns. Queen b8, king h7 played.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody is
I
pointing
think it's
out that
actually good.
there's a Zook Zhuang in the pretty Viraj game. We'll take a look at that in a bit. Yep, okay, we'll come back to this game. Still a lot of action left. Let's see what it looks like now. Okay, Ravi is 4-0. And in the rook ending, yes, now look like
It's a pawn ending.
yeah, it is now a pawn ending, and this looks like a draw. You just go king
Yeah.
e7, king e8, and it's a draw. There's no breakthrough here.
Yes.
So how did this happen? So rook c8 played, b6, d4, rook a7, rook b8, b7. Now king d7, king c4. Okay, this is a draw. Of course, this is drawn. There are many ways to draw this. I think you can make any pawn moves or most of the pawn moves, and it will still be a draw.
Yeah.
But was there a miss opportunity anywhere? I don't think so. I think this is sort of logical. Yep, this is going to be a draw soon.
I'm not sure why it was important to do like g5. I mean, I would probably, wouldn't change the evaluation, but at least keep a little more life in the position. h4, h5, anyway, draw.
Maybe just, yeah, I don't know, but probably doesn't change anything. You can go h4, he goes h5 even, and draw. So
Draw.
yep, okay, so we expect a draw in this game. Good play by pretty Viraj. And this game against Date Kong is sort of interesting. This ending. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this looks like a draw to me as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So black is a pawn up. But his
Why
pawn.
would it be a draw? I mean, like black. Imagine like a black attacks on e2. How do you defend it?
No, because I didn't realize that black is actually a pawn up, and secondly, I think there is something to be said about trying to bring the knight to a4.
I mean, black also needs to worry about e5 pawn, but if you want to keep h5 open for the king. So, like, let's say if you're doing the best scenario, getting the knight to a4, you want to keep the opportunity for your. So the only way to protect is king c1, and at this moment you want to get your black king to h5 and win the pawn. I'm not sure if it's all feasible. It might be a draw. So.
Yeah, so I think hypothetically, if these pieces are exchanged, it looks like it's very close to a draw actually. So let's say, for argument's sake, let's say I make some moves, king h, I don't know, let's say I play king h2, like d6, bishop to b1, king here.
I think it is a draw.
Yeah, knight f5, bishop f5, king f5. Let's say I go a4, and if the black king can somehow miraculously gets to h5 in one move, then it will be a draw. But it can't because of the king g6. I think I can go king g4, and this looks drawn. So okay, we established that black should keep pieces. But I would be more interested in trying to bring my knight to b5. So for example, let's say I go king to f2, black goes knight d6.
You're not threatening anything, like you want to sacrifice on c3, but that's not a threat really.
But the bishop has to stay on this sort of, you don't really have that many squares. So I put my knight on d6.
Seven,
Where
H3.
does your bishop go?
D7.
Yep, and that is sort of the problem. I go king f6.
I think what you want to do in that situation, by the way, is white king to get to h3. I want to make sure that you play h5 or f5. So even before that, you don't go to f2, you go to h3 directly, and you try to attack on f4. The moment you play h5 or f5, I'm pretty sure it's an ironclad draw.
Yeah, I don't want to play h5, that's for sure. But I'm trying to get to a position when I can sort of ignore this and attack the queen side structure, but I don't see a clear way in doing so. So probably a way to get my knight to a4 by means of playing knight to b6. So
But it's hard. Yeah, like how to get there while I'm standing there.
yeah, but definitely black should be trying for this.
Yeah. I think, by the way, the game has moved on, and Ravi just did exactly this. Oh, like, okay, we already played king h3, knight f6, h5, and now I'm pretty sure it's a draw. Like, there is no breakthrough.
King h6. Yeah, bishop b1 played. Now they're going to repeat moves, I'm sure. But I don't know, black should definitely try. Make a few moves, make some moves.
I think it was difficult, actually. If you're looking at the position after bishop b1, right, how do you get... you cannot really get any other way with a knight because it's controlling g4 without playing h5 first.
No, there are ways, of course. I go
Actually,
Like
I
knight
think
d.
this
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought this position was winning for black, or much better for black. He puts the knights on e7, and then he's always threatening to shift it to a4.
No, but I think that's
How
the point.
does
Like,
he keep that? Yeah.
No, after
No.
knight e7, I think what Andre wanted was bishop d7.
Okay, no, I mean I moved the king to e8 first, because anyway, white can do nothing, right?
no, white can do something. That's the important point. So I go with the king to h3, and I'm threatening king g4.
No, but
And
the pawn
that's
is
the
on
moment
h.
I'm forcing.
No,
Pawn is on
no,
h5
black-
already. Pawn is on h5.
That's right.
No, with the pawn on h5, I'm pretty sure it's that draw. And
No, I don't think it's so easy to draw this, because now there's a weakness on h4
okay.
and possibly one on b2. So the bishop has to guard the c8 d7 diagonal. You have to prevent the knight from crossing, and then the king has to guard h3. So it might be a way to create a zugzwang here, right?
But
No, it
exactly, because
looks very dangerous for white. I feel like looks very dangerous. I don't know this.
I don't see a way. Like, I mean, maybe there is, but like you can only attack. We can only attack h4 from g6, right?
Yeah.
That moment I'll just take.
So I leave the knights on e7.
Okay.
And
So let's
then I
make some
move the
moves.
king.
Let's
Yeah.
make some moves.
Yeah, okay. Yes, that's
bishop
the easiest.
So in the final position of the king g7, you go bishop f5. Black goes knight g8.
No, move the king to e8 first. King f8.
Okay, go king f8. King h3, I presume. We mark time, right?
Yeah.
King e8.
And then king e8.
King h3, knight to g8.
Yeah.
King to g2, knight to e7.
Yes. The
And
bishop
now-
has no squares. Yeah.
Bishop b1 is
No,
only...
but I can go. No, I can go wherever I want.
Where do you want to go?
Okay, let's say b1 if you want.
You,
But
you only
the
have
problem-
you actually only have 3 possible squares, so you can't go everywhere you want.
b1.
Yeah, bishop h7 loses, by the way, I think. So let's say bishop b1.
Then knight c8, and you can't stop the
Yeah,
piece
knight
from
c8
coming
to b6
But
to
what you're threatening? What are you threatening?
The
Let's say
b2
you're
pawn.
going to.
no
but then I
b2 pawn.
knight to a4. Knight to a4. I take your
Okay.
pawn. So
King c1. King c1, guys. That's it. That's the draw.
here, no, you are one move short.
But
so
your king is very far away.
your king needs to be on f2 then.
Okay, let's make sure that it was on f2 before.
And then knight g6 wins.
I take you on g6.
No.
And that's a draw.
Yeah, it's a draw. After knight g6, it's a draw. G5 takes. So let's try to make this happen. After King G2, so after King E8, why don't
Wait,
you just
it's
play
not
King?
a draw. Well,
No,
no. Wait a second, it's not a draw.
keep the
You're
bishop.
taking with the
Keep the bishop on F2. You should keep the bishop on keep the king on F2.
No, I think my idea was like, if anything, I just go back and take on G6, but I no longer sure it works. Let's like that pawn ending after bishop take G6, F G6. I think it's lost for white.
No, it's drawn.
No,
How-
no, it's
No,
drawn.
why?
That
How do you win? G5 I just take, and then I put my king on H3. That's drawn.
H3,
not
okay,
enough squares
H4.
to cross over.
Ah, okay, yeah, it is drawn.
No, that's a straightforward draw. But I wouldn't play knight G6 carelessly. I need to be.
But then what do you do?
So yeah, the king has to be on F2 then to be in time to get to C1. That's the only way.
But that's more than enough. And again, like we didn't even try, for example, to prevent black knight from getting to A4 because there are not that many squares from where you can get to that.
No, once my king is on E8, you can't stop it.
Why?
How do you stop it?
Let's say I keep it on H3 for the moment. How do you get there?
Yeah, so for example, I go knight to G8, you go bishop H3, I go knight to E7, and then you are lost because knight G6 wins on the spot.
That's a good point. Okay, yes.
Ravi is still doing so much better than Liang.
There is another option, right? Another way to win, which is that if black plays F5 and A4, then in a way, white's bishop is stuck on B1 and the H4 pawn is going to drop. I don't know whether that's enough to win or not.
I suppose you will go king to H3 and defend passively. In that
No,
game.
but
he has got to
you
make
took
moves.
flank.
Yeah.
I see.
That's a very good point.
Yeah,
that's a
zugzwang.
fantastic point.
No, I think once you take H4, then your winning chances sort of. You put the knight on E4 eventually, and then you have all these pawns. Basically, you have F5, D5, F4, and H5, and then you put your knight on E4.
Hmm.
And after F E4, F takes E4, and then you have 3 pawns, and
Yep, that's another interesting thing. Yep. So it's not as simple as I thought.
No, it's very dangerous. It's super dangerous for white. I don't know how to. Yeah, it's definitely
not-
worth analyzing a bit more deeper. But yeah, I hate to interrupt this. This is.
We need to do other games, yes.
Yeah, because Chongyi is back. He looks like.
We've liquidated into a drawish looking rook ending.
Yeah, looks like.
Looks like it's going to end up with a 2x2 or something like that.
Well, yeah, I can go king f6. White goes rook
No.
c7. Rook
Rook
d6.
d6
Just rook
check.
d6. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, this looks like drawn.
it is probably true.
Very peaceful end to the game.
Yes. That was quite promising too.
While we were analyzing far away endgames, there was a lot of action in this game.
Yeah, but that ending was very interesting. But I felt like Brandon should have, really made White suffer a bit there.
Maybe black shouldn't have sacrificed the pawn in this game.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking at the other games, like against Awesome, White is completely winning now. Against Bernadette, he's a rook up. And against some bot, he's winning. Against Clausinator, I think he's also winning. And look at this final position against this Toge Pifan. He is like 2 rooks and a queen and 2 pieces up. So I'm not sure what's that all about. And yeah, the current score is 5-1 with 2 draws. So Ravi is doing very very well. Like what
He's
Chong
doing so much better than Liam, man. Jesus.
That's very true. He is younger and stronger.
That's the power of the setup. E4, D3 wins.
Yeah,
Yes.
we kind of lost the moral right to criticize this opening choice with this with this display. I think he has won every game with it so far. Maybe against Dick Kong.
Wow. I must have been slightly better somewhere there, but I just couldn't find it.
No, Olympio pointed out a nice win you had.
There was a brilliant win.
Yeah,
There was.
Totally missed it.
there was a very nice win which we will demonstrate after your game. It's time
Is
to
it a reasonable time to offer a draw now, or
I think it is very reasonable to offer a draw, and then you can have your glass of wine and join us.
I already finished. I need to.
You
You need a
have a
refill.
second one.
Yeah, the whole bottle is gone.
But we can send you one.
So this is the way to play chess, not not with books or suffering and all this sort of thing, but you relax and then you enjoy with alcohol. Even though this is not encouraging anybody to drink alcohol, but this is how you
It's
enjoy
safe to
chess.
say that I have an equal position against the international master. I would hazard to say that it's dead drawn.
Maybe you should not relax too much, just in case,
No,
some
black
mistakes are made in the end.
No,
game.
black plays g4 and tries to checkmate white with g3.
And then I lose my key pawn to some check somewhere.
No, g4 actually threatens to win in 2 moves, like rook a1 and g3 mate. Yeah, so yeah,
Can we look at the there is another game still going where I'm not 100% sure that white is winning. Close in something, like there's a knight endgame.
Hey, you refused my draw, I think. You
Closinator.
just refused my draw. I made a
fighting
draw
spirit.
flat, I think it disappeared.
I think he felt insulted that he couldn't beat you. So
I feel insulted that he thinks I can't draw this ending.
Okay, one more victory there.
okay, I
He's
see.
playing on. Holy, what's going on? Right, offer a draw. Okay, maybe he doesn't know how to accept the draw during the summer.
Maybe he wants to flag you.
I think he wants to flag. He's just a bit annoyed.
Maybe he's watching the.
Yeah, he wants
I
to.
know that you
He's
know
trying to
that you're
flag me. I
drinking
think.
wine.
Oh
And
no! Does he realize I've got 20 seconds for move? And that should be enough even for an old man like me.
maybe he is expecting a second bottle of wine to do the job.
Yes.
I
I think
think
they
the,
listen in on this chat later.
the wine is the wine is a critical factor in this assessment.
I'm groveling for a draw. This is like the third time I've offered and he's declined.
You actually have to you might need to kneel down and beg for the draw, which I think you have
I
done.
think he wants to make me back. Clearly. But he wants a professional 3-4 repetition of the I better be precise. Rook b5 instead of some stupid rook b5.
It's the new rules, right? You can't offer draws.
I can't offer draw.
Somebody is suggesting that you should offer a draw every move. Covalent.
I've offered like 5 times. Okay. Yes, I
Yay!
drew.
What
I drew I am.
a huge achievement.
Woo!
Now, if he ever doing that on the last board as well, that would save some trouble.
Incredibly, he has no losses at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
6
I'm-
wins now.
Actually,
6 wins and 3 draws, and there's going to be a draw against Coding is fun.
how about like that knight endgame? Let's take a look before it's over. I think it's the only board where there's still some action. I think white
in the game against Clausinator. I think that's the one game that is sort of offers any remaining interest. So yeah, King F4
But I think,
looks winning.
what about like if I play Knight F7 now?
Knight F.
No, Knight D5.
Knight F7, I go Knight to D5. Yes, Knight F7 was played.
Yeah.
Knight D5, you go King D6, and
That's also not. That's not over. Yeah, maybe it's not over. What about like, okay, like I just.
you need to somehow take the pawn and then defend C6. But
It's actually not that easy. Maybe I can. And what? Okay, like if I take the pawn now, what do you play? You cannot play Knight D6 because Knight D5 still wins. So you have to play King B6, I guess, right?
and then Knight D5 wins. I think.
Say again. So how do you do it?
So if I go King takes G4,
Yes.
and what do you
King
do?
B6. King
King-
B6, nothing else.
King D6 or B6,
B6.
and then Knight D4 wins. Knight D5, I mean.
I take
C7.
C7,
Knight-
Knight D6, and Knight E.
Knight to
You
D6.
cannot
Yeah?
do that. Yeah, that's not over because you still need to take that pawn.
Yeah, I kind of missed this. So King to B6.
King to B6 has to be played. Needs to be played right now. You cannot do anything else, I think. Or maybe you can play F2 as well before, just to keep the knight busy for the moment. But okay, I
King
was probably,
B6. King B6, there is Knight C4 check.
King
Okay.
B5. And C7, I think he wants to go F2.
Mm. And then
Maybe
maybe
that's
it
one,
gets
maybe-
messy,
maybe-
right?
you don't know, you never know. Maybe there is a victory somewhere, like I don't know, like a study like, like Queen B7 after queening, you cannot take on C4 because of Queen A6, but I don't have to take. I don't know.
No, actually, I'm not thinking what happens after King takes F3. Yeah, it's worth calculating this. King C4, I go C7, Knight D6, H4. I just run with the pawn.
Mm.
No, I don't
Can
get there.
I-
King D5, I don't get there because
Oh damn, that was tiring. I need another drink, man.
the king comes to G8 in time. I
Oh,
think.
wait. How about King takes F3, King takes B5,
Yes.
C7, Knight D6, right?
Yeah,
Then Knight
Hold on.
F5.
I go
sorry.
back,
Knight D6.
I go to C8.
Knight F5, and then after that H4. Because the knight on F5 controls your knight exit squares. Is there enough time?
Nice. That's a
No,
good
no,
one.
I'm
So
sorry.
C-
I'm sorry. On move 54, Knight C4 check. Do you go Knight C4 check or not? I kind of lost you.
Oh, no. Sorry. We decided to play King takes F3
So-
instead.
I see.
King takes F3, C7, Knight D6, by the way, played already, all of that.
King.
Yeah.
So-
And now
Knight
Now
F5
in this
is a good
position,
one.
Knight
C.
F5.
Yeah, I see. Or you can go C7, Knight D6, Knight F5.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, C7, Knight
And
D6,
that-
Knight F5. Knight has to go to C8, and then you go H4
H4,
And then
and then
H4,
you run
and
yes.
wins.
and
Yeah, this is the way to win.
Yes. There's no way
The
to
way
stop the H pawn.
H5. Let's calculate it. Knight F5, Knight C8, H4, King C6,
Yeah, the king
H5.
is way too
Well,
far.
it's too late.
Way too far. Like,
Maybe I can use the knight somehow in a roundabout way. No, there is no way.
but your king has to come back first before that happens. So, yeah, this is a very
No.
good point.
No,
After
yeah.
knight to F5
Yeah.
is very strong. It's very important tempo gain, forcing knight to C8.
All played,
Yeah.
all played on the board. So H4 and then
H4 wins,
boom.
yeah.
And Ravi has played it too. Yes.
Very well played.
Very well played, man. The guy's strong.
With 46 minutes.
Yeah, 46 minutes to spare.
Making Young look like a dog, man.
Yeah, the game against Coding is fun. It's drawn as well. So it looks like it's going to be a huge score. 7. How many draws? 4 draws. So that's
4 draws.
10 to 2, I think. Final score.
Wow, very strong.
Yeah, very well played. And we should expect him to join the chat very soon. Trying to figure out how to open a new tab.
The thing I didn't look at my Facebook Messenger chat. Man. This Terry was talking about the tactic in my position while it was being played.
The line with Queen E5.
Yeah,
Mm.
Queen E8, Queen E5 was the move I missed.
Yeah, that's actually very.
After that, I think I was still better, but yeah, I just didn't have enough time to figure out what to do.
Oh, look at that. We are actually having a queen versus a naked king there. Oh, come on. They are playing it out.
I did manage to push my pawn to lose 4. That was one of the intentions during the game.
Okay, so we are waiting for Ravi to checkmate his opponent with king and queen, but yeah, it's a matter of time before he joins the chat. So
Why is the guy still playing on? I mean, does he think an international master doesn't know how to win it?
I think he is really frustrated for losing that game. It was an interesting game.
or maybe he just wants to enjoy the moment of being the last player.
The last one, yes.
There's no enjoyment. This is just
Yay!
Yes, game
Done.
over, and
8 wins and 4 draws. Wow, this is
That's super impressive.
so much better than international master Suli.
we'll wait for Ravi to come online, and then
But to Liang's credit, I think he got more donations as a result. Which is the ultimate intention of this kind of thing.
yep, I see him trying to come online. So hello Ravi, thanks very much for joining
Hello,
us.
Ravi.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yep, very nice performance. I think the final score speaks for itself. 10-2, 4 draws. We have Chongi here, who was actually doing a live commentary while he was playing.
Hey Chungi, how are you doing?
Good. Wow. That was I thought I must have been better somewhere there, but you were just
No, I'm
supposed
sure
to
you were
crack.
winning actually in the end game. I thought maybe King E4 at some point instead of taking the pawn instead of Rook C5.
Yeah, I'm bringing the game onto the screen, and yeah, before we delve into the details, I think it's fair to point out that I think around the move 28, there was a very nice tactic that we showed live, and
Everybody saw except me.
no, I don't think we saw this. I think Olympio Akan pointed it out, that on move
Harry
20,
saw it. So.
yeah, on move 28, Queen E5 check wins because of this tactical motif going to with Queen to G5. For example, if White goes King to H1, there's Rook takes G2. Rook takes
Which is
G2 followed by Queen
Time the
G5.
game.
Yeah, you can go to the Ravindran
I totally
Shanmugam
missed that.
Simul and click on the game to bring it up.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, which move?
Move 28 after Rook D2,
Okay.
there was a Queen E5 check.
Queen E5. And if King H1?
King H1, firstly Queen G5 does not work because of Queen takes G6, which is sort of established during the game, but instead of Queen G5, Rook takes G2, threatening Queen H2 mate,
Okay, so
and this
King
wins. King G2, Queen G5 check, and you take on
It's
D2.
very pretty.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
pretty.
I see.
So
I hate to admit, but I didn't see it at all.
and
Show also the other variation with G3. I
Yeah,
think it's even
and-
more tricky.
yeah, after G3 there was Rook takes G3, which was a beautiful variation.
Ah,
And regardless how you capture on E2, Black responds with Rook E3 and takes on E2, no matter what happens. So
okay, that's very nice. I completely missed this.
yeah,
Both of us did.
No, but it's very difficult to see
It's-
this,
it's
so
not-
it's understandable.
not easy to see this at all under Simul and wine drinking conditions. So
Nothing to do with
I actually
wine.
realized I had more time. I think I was playing quickly.
yeah, the final game that you played, you had 46 minutes left. So
Yeah. Yeah, I should have played more slowly.
yeah, anything you wanted to maybe we should let the both of you analyze this game now, and I'll just do the moving of the pieces.
Sure.
So let me start by saying actually 2F5 is not a ridiculous move. It's actually reasonably sound. I checked it on the computer. At worst, it's like half a pawn down, which is roughly what you would get in any black opening.
Yes. Yeah. No, but I know. I mean, I was just trying to play something safe and get a game, without having to think too much in the opening. But so, I mean, I guess knight h4 is the critical line, right? After d5.
Knight h4.
Is it? How am I supposed to play against 2f5? Is it knight h4 after d5?
Okay, after knight h4.
Knight f6.
No, knight h6. That's not the move. The move is
Knight f6 maybe.
e5.
e5, queen h5.
And I think it is g6.
fg6.
Because then I take the knight back.
fg6 and g7, right?
Yeah, then I take the knight on h4. As I exchange sacrifice, I think I have some activity.
Okay.
Right, knight f6, g7, knight takes queen, pawn takes rook, and then queen takes h4. And again, it's the magical Liang square that I was looking for.
Okay, got it.
It's probably unsolved. But it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chongyi, you're not serious that you actually prepared this position.
I prepared this. Because people have played it against me in Blitz before, and I just couldn't get an advantage. I got so frustrated. I looked at it, and as it turns out, it's not ridiculous.
Okay, got it.
No, that's really funny.
Okay, the other move is of course knight h6. That's a very playable move instead of e5.
Got it.
We really need a Limpio on the line.
And knight goes back
That's
to
when he's
f7.
done.
Yeah, where's
Then the next
Olympio?
move, I'm going to take e5 and sacrifice the pawn.
He's commenting actually on the stream, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to send him the link, and if he wants to join, we are having a party here, but let's have one more. Terry should join as well.
So where did I miss my chance for an advantage?
H3 is probably a little slow. I think most people either play bishop e5, one move before, or bishop e3.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering.
After
Could
h3, I probably can consolidate with the slack piece.
Yeah, after d5, could I have gone bishop b5 at this point?
Yeah, that's the normal. That's the book move.
And after bishop f5, knight to d4.
That doesn't give you anything. I know you want to save on d4, right? You want to play bishop b5, I take, knight d4. I can just retreat.
Queen h5 check and take on d5. That was what I wanted. But it doesn't work. No, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Oh, it does. Sorry, it does. So I was
Come on.
after queen h5, g6, queen takes d5. I thought knight takes d4 wins, but after queen takes d4, h8 rook hangs. So.
Oh, I have instead of knight takes d4, knight f6 after queen d5. And I think you may be lost there.
Because of knight takes d4 after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this part of preparation?
Of course. Did you have any doubt?
No, I had no doubt. I
take games against international masters very seriously.
So h3 was actually an extremely good tactical move.
It was very safe, but I mean, I wasn't unhappy to see that because then it leads to just these complex type of middle games. That's roughly the chances of both sides.
Maybe I should have just equalized with bishop f5, knight e5.
I thought bishop takes f6 was an extremely safe move on both ends.
Yeah,
extremely safe. You could have played a lot of other moves, natural moves, knight b2, knight c3. But bishop takes was very safe.
I thought... Yeah, somehow I thought I'd be able to put more pressure on the e6 pawn. After bishop f6, rook f6, and then knight Knight c6. I actually expected queen c6, not bc6. But I think bc6 was stronger. But I thought I'd be able to put more pressure on e6. I just couldn't get it.
I wanted to have two chances to break on c5.
Yeah. No, it was
But then
best.
the bishop can be quite
I
dangerous.
couldn't find any way to apply any pressure. And then after bishop c5, I realized actually it was probably slightly worse.
It was still very close to equal.
It was probably still.
But when you allowed me to play e5, I thought that's when I started to have a bit of chance.
Yeah, which I completely missed.
Yeah.
Like knight f3 instead of b4 was quite normal.
Yeah, question for Chongi, like, do you consider move 17 to play e5?
No, I didn't. Actually, that's a strong move, right? Yeah, that is a strong move.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
White-
how bad I am.
White could
to move
go
like that.
knight to b5, I guess, and then I'm not sure about bishop c5.
You can play bishop or
What if instead of
Yeah,
knight
bishop
b5, play rook ad1?
after e5, rook a d1, and then I go something like queen d7 or queen.
maybe f7.
Bishop c5 actually.
I think you should go to f7 and then go to protect d5 and then go bishop c5 and attack f2.
Yeah, queen
I think that's
f7,
you.
and then you travel on the travel on the f5.
Somewhere around here, I started fancying the position because the pressure on the f file was quite strong.
Your favorite f file, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've learned it from the top coach, Junior Tate. He
So
opens the f file every
nicely
chance.
opened on the second move. So it's all part of the plan, huh?
Yeah, that's the start of the grand strategy from move 2 with f5.
Yeah.
Well, we have a bit of a racket going on here where, me and Liang will play games of Blitz and then Junior will compile them into a book and then he sells the book for money.
No, but that's what we do as friends. We exploit each other for monetary gains. That's sort of expected.
My god.
So,
So maybe e5 on move 17
yeah,
was
most-
strong.
yeah, bishop c5, it makes it a lot harder for you to play e5 for the rest of the game actually.
Right. For some reason, I only saw c5, knight f3 takes, knight takes, and then when Ravi played knight b3, I automatically just still can play bishop c5. I should have obviously played e5.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
So after b4, move 20, maybe I should have just pulled the bishop back. I don't know why I was so excited and played e5 straight away. Maybe just bb6.
Bishop b6 or bishop d6? Sort of.
Not just bishop b6. Keep the pressure.
D, right?
b6.
You want to go
Wow.
bishop b6, okay. And then
It's still not that easy to prevent e5.
and with the idea of playing e5, I suppose.
Yeah, and then the bishop is so much stronger on that knight.
If you're white, you probably need
E5?
to calculate something like knight c6 and try to get it to e5.
Yep, I think that's a fair point.
Knight c6, I still play e5.
Knight
You
c6
still play
e5
e5.
comes anyway.
Yeah,
And you
because
cannot take, right.
the f pawn is pinned. It cannot support.
Yeah, cannot play.
So
Cannot play.
what about queen e5 instead of
So,
just
queen
bishop b6, queen e5?
Queen e5, I was thinking I push c5.
So bc?
Then now there is bc. I was thinking bc7, but I guess I can just also take the pawn.
Yeah,
Mhm.
c5 and bishop c7 looks very attractive.
Hmm.
I have to agree.
Yeah, I'll just bc5, bishop c7, and then
And then bishop b8, queen c7.
two-
Bishop b8, queen c7, yeah?
Yeah, well, we can do that, but I don't think Ravi is this kind of thing.
Yeah, this is...
Queen e3, for instance.
Queen e3, some e5,
Knight f3.
knight f3, and now I think e4.
Actually,
This
no, not knight f3, knight b5, I think.
yeah, knight b5 is better, I think,
Knight
because
B5
you want to go
better.
maybe d6.
d6.
Yeah,
And B, C, D, B8.
bishop b8, knight to d6, I suppose.
Yeah,
Knight d6.
it's still dynamically equal. I think it's not that easy to build an advantage.
I mean, I prefer to be black, but I don't think it's that clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the game before e5 was played, bc, ed, queen d3, dc3, queen c3.
And here I'm clearly worse, at least a bit.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, black goes rook to e2, queen to g3, rook to g6. Yeah, very difficult position. Yeah, but you somehow you escape from the pressure. How about rook takes a2 is probably not considered because white goes rook e1 at some point, or maybe now. So I'm at move 27, king h2, and of course h5 is a must play because it's important to push the h-pawn in our games under the influence of Liang. So after rook to d2, yeah, so this is the point where there was queen e5 check.
Yeah.
So let's go
Beautiful,
past.
beautiful tactic.
Yeah, let's go past that. I mean, okay, we missed it, but after f4, rook, yeah, h4. Yeah, this really looks good for black, but not so easy. King h1.
I think that was the
Yeah.
moment where we were looking at like queen e7, rook c4, something like that.
Yeah, I think we were suggesting queen e7 at this point to try to take this pawn. The rooks are sort of stuck for the time being, defending f4. So how do you defend the c5?
Queen e7.
Yeah, after queen e7 on move 31.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier for black to play.
Alright, that's a good question. Queen a3.
Queen a3,
Rook.
rooks. Yeah, and now rook c4.
c4.
Yeah.
By the way, I think that it's important to keep the rook on f6, so like rook f5, because c6 is protected. Actually, everything is protected.
Yeah, all the pawns except for
Rook
h4.
f6 is very strong. Maybe I
Yeah.
should have moved it up to
E
f5.
file is still not available for white. Rooks.
Yeah.
Queen e7, I
Okay,
need to
okay.
find a move.
Yeah, queen e7 is the critical move, I think. Is
But
defense.
you know, like what they say,
E6.
it's always difficult to see the moves back, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we always
Yeah,
go.
careful,
Queen
because
a6.
later, instead of d4, there was also queen d7, which just protects everything. It's not obvious to me why I didn't play a simple.
No, no. Yeah, queen d7 could have held.
yeah,
Later,
Yeah.
instead of d4, on move
Yeah,
32,
on 30.
just queen d7, right? Defends everything.
Yeah,
And then I can slowly push.
yeah.
Queen
it's-
e7,
it's-
what about queen a6?
It's not as good as queen e7 though. In the when you compare the two situations, because queen
Yeah.
queen e7 attacks c5. So
Yeah. Yeah, maybe a
I
bit
mean-
fixated on having the beautiful pieces in the center that didn't think of moving them away to top the field.
yeah, I was trying to see if this ending is even worth playing for, but after queen to c3 on move 32, so queen e7, queen c3, rook c4, queen to e5. But there's just nothing there because black can even go queen takes c5 at the very worst, and after queen e8 check, I just go queen f8, and I'm holding on to everything.
Got
So-
it. And
So
Queen e7, what about queen a6?
queen a6, and then if I take on c5, queen g4.
Queen c8?
You want to go queen g4 eventually, right?
Yeah, I want to go to g4.
But I go queen f8.
And queen g4.
Queen g4, and I can think about starting to push my pawns like d4, c5, and I'll let you take the pawn on h4.
You let me take on h4.
Yeah, I'll let you take on h4. I think I'll go d4. I think.
Kevin, why Black had to do all of that? Like, why couldn't you take on e5 when White played queen a5, take on f2, take the pawn, and then your two pawns, fast pawns in the center?
Yeah, because that you don't want to fall into some nasty tricks. So for example, takes rook f2, takes rook c5. Okay, there's rook c1, rook e1, but I'm saying that, let's say, it can even fall for this. I'm just and suddenly White is winning, but yeah, coming back to the point where White could take the pawn on h4. It's probably the only way for White to get some kind of counterplay, but still I kind of believe in this pass pawns on the C and D file.
Black is definitely better, but is it winning?
Yeah, I would say serious winning chances. Very serious. Because the pawns will be very hard to deal with, especially with you still have to watch out on regarding the f4 pawn, and his pieces are sort of well coordinated on with rooks on e4 and f6. So
yeah.
So okay, we can continue the game. Yeah, queen e7 is probably a good try. I think that's a fair way to put it across.
Yeah.
Yeah, not saying that rook f5 does not retain winning chances though. Queen d7, of course.
Instead of d4.
Yeah. D4 is just time trouble. Just push forward.
Because I think after queen d7 you want to make a move like maybe rook b2 or something, but then f4 pawn hangs. Yeah, the f4 pawn is a problem. Yeah, I have an idea here. Like, if I go rook b1, how do you take the pawn? With the e rook or on the f rook, or maybe there's not much difference.
I'll take it the f rook.
You take it the f rook, and now I want to play rook b7.
That's mate, right?
Is that mate?
Rook e1 check.
No, I go rook b7, rook e1 check, king h2.
Rook e1 check.
King h2.
Queen takes h3.
Whoa.
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 Come on, GM, you didn't see that, GM?
Whoa. That's a Magnus style,
That's a nice line.
That's a nice illustration. Yeah. Yeah, queen h3, very nice finish.
Yeah, okay. Beautiful.
I'm looking at it with a machine in front of me. Sorry.
Whoa.
No one said I couldn't use the machine after the game ended.
Yeah, that's very, very nice.
We thought we were showing your true colors as a tactician.
So you can see,
so maybe
I'm rightly called a former attacking player.
Yeah, that's a beautiful variation. Yeah, but instead after rook takes f4, rook b7, I suppose this is like queen e6 should just win, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
probably
is
getting rated there.
Yeah. So yeah, queen d7 would have been good. Yeah, instead of queen d7, d4, queen a7, and things are not clear anymore. Queen d5, queen d8. Queen to d6.
Here, was it worthwhile taking and playing c5 after queen d6?
Yeah, fair point. Actually, I think so.
I was thinking queen d6, c6, d5.
No, queen d6, c6, and maybe rook to d5.
Yeah.
Rook d5, I was planning f5.
Yeah, I'll take. If you go f6, I'll change one rook, and it's winning. The pass pawns will roll for sure. So
So wait, queen d6, c6, what's the move?
rook d5,
Rook d5.
Rook d5, f5.
rook d6.
And if f6, it's definitely lost, right? Okay, fine. So rook d5. What was I thinking? A4 maybe.
a4. I guess I take the pawn, or actually I don't have to take the pawn. I can even push with, let's say, d3. Or c5, like either of these moves. Let's say d3.
Okay, so I need a better move. Rook d5.
Do you consider this, Chongi?
Was that rook queen takes d6 and rook d5?
Yeah, after move 35, queen d6.
Yeah, I did consider it, but for some reason I kept every pawn push of that d pawn was just a bad move. D4 is a bad move, d3 is a bad move.
Yeah, I guess the main thing is to try to. It's a really good thing to have this connected pass pawns.
Yeah, for some reason I thought I might have some counterplay here, but I don't think so now.
Yeah, this looks dangerous.
Hey guys,
It's
why you're taking on d6 and then playing rook d5? Why can't like just take on c5 straight away?
Very fair point. Like queen takes c5.
Yeah, that's playable as well.
No, it's no.
d5, queen c5, rook c5.
Yeah, now I'm looking at the machine and it's suggesting queen d6, c6, rook d5. But
Okay, well that's an
But
argument.
it's also suggesting
no, but
that,
I don't want to use. I mean, but queen c5 makes a lot more sense. I don't know, just taking the pawn and. No, I think both ways.
roll the-
Both ways probably will be good for black, but. Yeah.
And what's the evaluation after queen d6, c6?
Yeah, it's
d5?
-4, so position is
Okay.
lost. Yeah.
Okay,
and
position is lost.
Queen c5 is -2 or something, based on. But instead after d3 is -0.5 or 0.6, so d3 is a critical error, I guess, played in time trouble. Because after d3, queen d5, rook takes d5, rook d2. Rook d2, there was rook e2. There was
And if I just rook f1, what's after that?
Yeah.
rook f1, I'll take, and then I march my king.
King g6 and it's over, right?
Yeah, I just get my king to e4 and it's over.
So what
Yeah.
I've done after rook d5,
Yeah, so
queen d3, what should,
Yeah.
what should
so no, rook d2 loses to rook e2. So instead of that,
Maybe rook d1,
maybe rook d1. Yeah,
but it's the same story. Rook e2, what's up? No, rook d3 doesn't work. Wait a second.
rook
So I'm not sure
d3.
I see the difference.
I don't see the difference either. But maybe after rook e2, I can go rook f3,
d2,
d2, and then rook. I can go
you
king
have to
g.
go f1.
I go king g1. I don't know. King g1.
Okay. Rook e1, rook f1, and you're closer. That's the thing. Like basically, you can attack d2 pawn. Wow, that's an interesting way to hold.
Yeah, and instead of rook e1, if rook c5, there was king f1.
Just in time. Yep.
And I see a nice tactic. Rook e1, check. rook takes e1, and a move like rook c1 just doesn't work. Firstly, I can go rook to d1.
You can also play like rook a3. So
Yeah,
help.
the rook fe3 is the rook e3 is a sort of a less fanciful move, but yeah.
I guess I'm less fanciful.
Yeah, I am I am a fanciful guy. Yeah, so a missed chance there, I think, for Chongi. I think after rook to d2 there was rook e2. Yeah, instead king g6, rook f3, yeah, f5, king f6, and now the king comes to e5, but
e5, move 41. Instead of rook c5, could you have played king e4?
sorry.
Yeah, I was actually looking at king e4, and then with so little time, I wasn't sure exactly what's happening. So, but my intention originally was to play king e4.
But can white play a6 after that?
Yeah, I suppose he wants rook c5 and then rook a5. I think that's. But I was thinking of going king g1.
King g1, rook c5.
King f2. Threatening rook e3 check. So that's.
Rook f.
You can play rook c3, something like that, no?
Yeah, you can. And then I go f6.
And after that,
I go f6, maybe. Or a6.
a6 rook, I'm going to meet like rook a3.
Rook a4, yeah. I see your sneaky idea now. Yeah, very complicated endgame actually. It's not easy for white to defend this. Rook.
I felt like king e4 was the last chance.
Yeah, let's try to look at this a bit longer. I know that there are many games to be covered, but it's sort of a good thing to cover one game deeply, especially the one that appears to be the most interesting among all the games. There are some other interesting games, but we will look at them in a while. But yeah, this game is definitely worth a bit more detailed coverage. So if anyone is being impatient, just hang on a minute. Yeah, rook c3. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out before I resort to engine assistance, but I want to try to figure this out on my own. I want to play rook a2, but d2 wins. So which is a little bit unfortunate. f6, g f6, rook takes f6, and what's happening here?
Wait, king g1, rook c5, king f2. What does black play?
Sorry, king e4, king g1, rook c5, king f2, rook c3 was Andre's move.
Rook c3, okay. Rook f5, is that endgame drawn?
No, my pawn is on f5.
Yeah, so black plays rook c5 instead of rook f3. Is that endgame drawn? Because black walks out with a pawn extra.
Sorry, I'm sorry. After move 41, king e4.
King e4, king g1, rook c5, king f2.
Yeah.
What if that rook f5?
Rook f5. I go king e3 after that.
Yeah, and then rook a5.
You mean rook a4? Yeah.
Rook a4 and then rook a5. So king e3, rook a4.
Rook d3.
Rook d3.
Rook a5. This looks very close to a draw.
It's close to a draw. Okay.
Looks close to a draw. Or at least as a winning attempt, I think playing rook to c3 on move 43 looks a bit more dangerous to deal with,
Okay.
given that.
Rook c3.
Yeah.
I guess f6.
Yeah, f6, gf6. Rook takes f6. Black goes something like c5. Yeah, for those of you who are wondering why we are not just clicking a button and to see what the engine says. Yeah, that's because it's just not the best way to analyze games. We try to find moves first, and then when we spend a decent amount of time, then we switch back to the machine and see what it says, to corroborate what we have so far analyzed. So that's how you should be analyzing your games, by the way. To the children over there watching us.
Rook e6, maybe.
Rook e6, king d5.
Rook e1.
Rook e1, and now I want to go king c4 at some point. Or maybe no, but now I can go c4.
Why not c4?
Yeah, I go c4.
And then rook a1.
Yeah,
I can always go like rook f4.
Yeah, my rook gets back.
Sure.
My rook gets back
Your
in
rook gets
time,
back.
and then these pawns
Rook
are.
gets back. Rook gets back.
Yeah.
Then the pawns just roll. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
so
Now we check
result.
and see what it says. Yeah, there's a draw here. After rook c3, or at least it doesn't say that the black is winning outright. After rook c3, there was rook e3 check.
King d5.
Yeah. King d5, there's rook e7, and taking on g7 makes it kind of. Yeah. So after
Not
rook,
easy though.
rook e3, king takes f5, and then rook e7. Yeah, but even this position is winning. Yeah, now after a bit more depth, c5, yeah, it wins. Basically, nothing has changed from what we have assessed. Like basically, once you get the pawn to c4, black wins. Yeah, so it feels like Andre's move for rook c3 is very good. And king e4, yeah, king e4 wins. Apparently. After king g1, rook c5. Yeah, I'm just checking through the analysis. Yeah, the machine is suggesting other moves that wins as well, but yeah, for example, instead of rook c3, rook takes a5 wins as well, but okay, rook c3 also wins. Yep, so yep, the position after rook takes a5 on move 43. Yeah, this may be the last chance for black to try for something, because there is, I don't know, I feel like this should be drawn, but after on move 44, maybe king takes f5.
That was probably the last try, but it's probably still drawn. The rook takes the remaining pawn.
Yeah, but
Feels drawn.
you have pass pawn. King is sort of trapped, you know.
So king f5, rook g7.
Yeah.
But you'll get the h4 pawn, right?
You get h. Yeah, you get the h.
Kind of hard to believe that it's anything but a draw.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, after I didn't see king e4, I thought I was safe. Like after rook
The
c4.
machine is suggesting a crazy move like rook king e4, which is not something I would ever play. And then
What?
after rook g7, king e4, rook g4, king d3.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. You want to.
Yeah, I want to push.
Faster.
But I think this should be drawn. Like the pawns will be fast enough. But we don't have to go into the all the moves here, I guess. Yeah, it feels like after rook d7, king f6. Yeah, this is draw. So Chongyi was begging for a draw here. Like he made 5 draw offers, and
Yeah, I was like offering draw at every move.
I'm sorry, I didn't see. I didn't actually know how. Like I draw as well. But
Every draw offer was rejected, so it's like.
I'm sorry, I just didn't see it.
How do you feel, Chongyi, when the IM rejected your draw offers? Do you feel insulted?
Again, I'm used to it, right? Because Liang, if you recall, there was one game we played in Junior's place where I was literally on my knees begging you for a draw and then the draw condition, and you kept saying no.
Yeah. I felt like all the drawn positions I offered a draw, and none of them were accepted. So maybe my opponents had the same experience.
Yeah.
I thought you played resolutely until the position was truly dead drawn, as in a modern spirit.
Yeah, but I think the moving rook a2, rook c2, rook a2, rook c2, I think that one I can accept.
Any other games that you found like interesting that you might want to mention? I think we have a bit
I mean,
of
so
time.
there was one game I just blundered a piece and I was completely lost.
Yeah, I saw the game.
You didn't lose that game.
Yeah, even that one you survived. Like against I think coding is fun, right?
I'm not sure who it was. I knew I
Yeah.
was winning, right? I had a pawn and more, and then I just dropped a piece.
Ah,
Okay, guys, I'm gonna log off now. Very nice playing.
Thanks, Changi. Thanks for the game.
thanks for joining
I'm
us.
sorry, very lucky.
Take care.
The
Bye-bye.
amazingly strong Ong Chong-gi for joining us.
Congratulations on the
great
good results.
Result makes Liang look like some sort of pattern.
No, I was about to congratulate you on the great result, Chongi.
And I managed to hold the draw. All right, see you guys.
Thanks.
Good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye Chong-gi. Yep. Ravi, do you want to maybe look at one more game maybe?
Yeah.
Or one or two more games just briefly so that we don't take
Yeah.
up too much more of your time.
Who is online? Should we look at the game of someone who's online?
Yeah, I don't know. Many people are watching this stream at this point, but on Zoom it's just the four of us right now.
Okay, got it. Which one is interesting? Let me just pick something.
I thought the game against Date Kong was hugely debated by
Let's pick that then.
the three of
Against-
us. Basically, in the final position, there was a dispute. I wouldn't say dispute, but there was a discussion on whether the final
Debate.
position was good for black or not.
Which game?
Against Date Kong. I think that's
Kong.
Brendan Kong.
Okay, so let me just pull it up.
It's the game where you had
This
the
is
pawn
interesting.
chain and a bishop versus knights. You had a bishop against his knights.
Yep, so let's look at this game then. I played a close Sicilian. It was a relatively safe position.
Yeah, it was tremendously surprising to see pawn d3 on move 2, like. Okay. Anyways,
Okay, so where were we? Let's start.
yeah, we
I
can.
mean, h6 I think can't be accurate on move 6. It should be knight h6 or something, because h6 is no reason.
Yeah, they have no idea how to deal with this, and they just make moves. I think he wants to go bishop e6 and not allow any knight g5 stuff. So
Yeah. So after knight e5, bishop d6 was impossible because otherwise I have knight g6. So bishop d6 was fine. And then after rook e5, after rook e8, I felt like I was better. I just couldn't find a way to push it. e4 I thought was a decent move. But I could never find a way to take on d5. Maybe queen f4 was inaccurate. I'm not sure what I should play here. Maybe f4. Maybe f4. So I can't play queen e2 because of knight g4. So maybe f4. Anyway, so I played queen f4. e5 was a decent move. f3 was maybe inaccurate. But I couldn't think of a way to prosecute this. Maybe I should go back, queen g2 or something, provoke a5, play a3.
yeah, he goes rook b8. I don't know. Or
Yeah, and then I take, play b3. And after c3, I play f3, knight f2, knight d3. It's the only thing I can think of.
So maybe after you were suggesting after rook a c8, you go queen to d2, a5, a3, and maybe black could play c3.
C3.
Yeah, c3 on move 21. So queen move 20, move 20, queen d2, black goes a5, you go a3, and then he goes c3.
Actually, let me start with A3 then. So instead of queen D2, A3.
Okay, so a3. I could go c3 anyways.
AB4
ab4, cb2, knight b2, rook,
Knight B2.
rook c2,
and 93, and I get to C5.
and you get a c5 and some play. Yeah, this looks quite decent. So
So say
it's-
A3,
so
five.
so a3 I go a5. Yeah.
AB, queen D2.
And let's say I make a move like queen d6 with the idea of playing knight to d7.
B3.
b3. Okay, I should not play c3. That's for sure.
Actually, you know what? So A3, A5, AB. I don't play queen D2. I just go B3.
b3. Yeah, but it does feel like black should be fine. Okay, let's say I go queen d6 anyway. Black doesn't really have too many weaknesses actually. The arguably d5 is
if
not
I
really
go
not really a
BC?
weakness. Sorry?
If I go BC,
BC, and I could choose the I take with the pawn.
yeah, I think black is fine.
Yeah, you actually have to be a bit careful now because
You have to be a big.
yeah, d4 could be. I have knight d5 maybe at some point. Not now, but
F3 though was a mistake because I completely missed this idea of queen c7, knight d7. And b3 is hanging, so I can't move the queen back.
oh, I see. g3 was hanging. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to just accept this pawn structure.
Knight
I
f6.
think black has to be better here, but I think b3 was a mistake. There was no reason for black to pull us off the position.
Yeah, rook,
Probably
rook b8 was the way to go.
rook
Yeah,
b8,
you should go rook b8 or even
or ba3.
there was even no immediate need to go rook b8.
Yeah, I'm not trusting anything.
Maybe just take on a3, and after that you always have these weaknesses on c3 and a3 to play.
Yeah, the file should have been. I mean, black should have left the queen side open.
Yeah, this looks good for black. That's for sure. Because the problem is that your bishop is not getting into play, and you will need to like sack the pawn and followed by f4 maybe. Yeah, the plan with f3 feels like it's a bit too slow.
Yeah, it was, and
Yeah.
it like one glaring weakness because g3 was hanging.
Yeah, b3, and eventually we sort of ended up with this position. Yeah, and we're trying to argue that this position is close to winning. Is either close to winning for black or it's drawn.
So how would black prosecute this? And the knight get to a4.
Yeah, so in the final position after king g7, Liang came up with a very nice plan. He goes, let's say king g2, I go king f8, and my king comes to e8, and the knight maneuvers to e7. And what happens in this position?
Sorry, so final position. King g7, king g2.
Which is the final position actually? Move 30 on your screen.
Move 39.
Move
King G7.
39. Yeah, king g7. Okay, so let's say white goes. Do you go king g2?
Yeah, I'll go king g2.
Okay, I go king f8. You can actually make moves on the board if you want, so that you don't have to.
Okay, bishop f5.
Bishop f5, king e8.
Bishop c8.
Yep, and knight g8.
Bishop a6.
Bishop a6 is kind of risky. Like your bishop's getting trapped. I go king d7. Oh no, there's bishop b5 check. Okay, you want to come from that side. Okay, let's say I go knight d7. I don't know. Let's go knight e7.
Bishop b5.
Bishop b5, king d8.
King h3.
King h3.
Oh, then you've got knight f5.
I have knight f5,
and
knight e3.
Yeah, okay, so I can't do that. So that means my bishop needs to stay on the diagonal.
JZ Rider is saying that the b2 pawn will drop, but I think the main thing is I think white has to stop the knight from penetrating. So the main ideas of this maneuver is that the knight on e7 keeps an eye on c8, which goes to b6 and a4, and at the same time going to g6 and f5. So e7 is sort of like the best square for the knight in this case. And when the knight, if the knight eventually lands on the a4, the white king has to be on c1. So we sort of established that the king has to be on f2, so that he has enough time to run to c1. And then the other thing that we were saying is that the bishop on b1 could we could potentially land in zugzwang, because it's just not enough squares for the
So basically the idea was just to play f7, f5, and after that go back with the king to protect f5, play knight g6, and then just one pass move and white is busted.
So okay, so after move 42, instead of bishop c8, I play king f2. You go knight g8.
I go knight g8.
Bishop b1.
Yeah, bishop b1 was what we sort of saw, and then knight to e7.
Bishop b1, knight e7. I need to go back king g2, right? Otherwise knight g6.
But if you go king g2, then you're too slow. I go knight c8 to b6 to a4.
Okay, but knight g6 I can take it.
Yeah, knight g6 is a draw. So
it's a draw. So king e2.
So let's say king e2, but I don't go knight g6 now. I will go. I think the idea was f5, right?
Yes.
F5 here, yes, that's right.
And now the bishop is stuck. You're reduced to making waiting moves with the king, and then I bring my king to f6, and then put my knight on g6, and eventually you'll be in zugzwang, and you will lose h4. So. Of course, this is not all that easy to see. Kind of took us a bit of time to figure this out collectively.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
we were three of us were arguing about it, so clearly not easy at all.
It looks lost. It looks lost.
So b4, b3 paid off after all, huh?
B for Brandon. So good on the boy, but yeah, taking the draw in that position was yeah, if Esther, you are watching this, you should know what to do. Esther is the mom.
It looks completely lost.
Yeah.
So okay, I should actually have lost 2 of these games, maybe 3 if you
Yeah,
count
it's
the-
not, but it's not all that easy. Yeah, interested to see. Okay, let's verify this with the engines. -7, yeah. In the final position after king to g7, yeah, it's saying 0. But let's see why after bishop to f5. Yeah, now it's saying yeah, it's just lost.
It's probably saying 0 because of repetition.
Yeah, Sakat 99. Yeah, we will analyze this game. I think there's a request to analyze Pretty Raj again, the game against Pretty Raj, which ended in the draw as well. So we'll look at that in a bit. Yeah, and yeah, the com is suggesting another maneuver, but pretty much leads to the same idea. He goes knight g8, king f6, king e7, king d6, and then knight to e7. So it's still pretty much the same idea, but
White ends up with one, right? I think there's no way to defend all of that.
yeah, there's no defense to this idea. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so still is a good save, and the reason why you should never take a draw against a stronger player just because you're playing against a master. When you play well, you have a chance to win. You should try to keep going until the end. So yeah, let's take a look at the game against Pretty Viraj.
Right.
So that game was a French
the-
defense.
That's a French one. Yeah, we debated the end game with the rook and game.
Yeah, we were sort of fascinated with your obsession with getting that pawn structure with d4, e5, f4. It happens in every game.
It's true, actually. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, this position is sort of a theoretical one, I think. It's kind of well
Yeah,
known.
so I think it's theory until I didn't know queen c7, but I think it's theory until 13 queen d4.
Yeah, there is definitely theory. I think the move
queen
is-
c7.
The move could be b6, but I'm not wrong. But anyway,
Yeah, b6 I think is the main
yeah,
line.
b6 is the main line. Yeah, the com is showing the same. But
And then I think it goes queen b4. But so queen c7. I'm not sure. Maybe I was thinking about bishop b5 as well, but maybe bishop b5 was more accurate.
mm-hmm.
But if bishop d3 a6,
Yeah, bishop e5 looks good. I tend to agree. Bishop d3, a6, b4, b5, knight b2. Still feels a bit better for white.
yeah,
Yeah. Queen b6.
queen b6 must be a mistake. I think he just needs to castle.
Yeah, castling was best. I agree.
A4 takes. Here a6 after rook a4, a6 is just too weak. The pawn should fall at some point. And then king d2, king d7. I played too quickly because here I think I can actually play b5 after king d7.
Yeah, it feels like b5 is good. Yeah. So the point is after b5, and it looks like you're helping black to get rid of his weaknesses. But after I think rook takes b5. Was that your
What if
intention?
I rook a6? I think.
Yeah, rook a6. And you move the
Attack
rook.
and attack.
You go rook b3 or rook b4. One of
Who's
these.
Correct,
b4
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Rook b4 and then wins.
Drops.
Yep.
And king c6 isn't possible because of rook c1.
Yep.
So
Good point.
b5 clearly. Okay, so rook a1 was a mistake. Then I think it was reasonably normal bishop a6. Everything took. But I was too fast. The endgame, I thought I had enough play with the endgame. I saw that I was losing the pawn, but I thought I would have enough play in terms of pushing the b pawn. But there must be a better way to do this.
Yeah, I was wondering whether you could have gone after knight c4. Could you have gone king c3? I'm not sure whether there's too much difference, but maybe not that much. I don't know. So the point is you get your king to the b file first, and
One is like it's king to b3, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it would have been better. I don't know if it's enough. It would have been better.
yeah, because after knight c4, rook c4, rook a7, king e8. Yeah, this was what I think we felt that after the very accurate move after b5, rook b4 was very good. I think.
Rook b4 was very good. I didn't think
Yeah,
about
it
it.
was
I was
it was a very mature move to force rook to b7 and then followed by rook takes d4. So that was well played. I felt.
because I think rook d4 is significantly worse, right?
I think so. After rook takes
King
d4,
c3.
king c3.
I basically have one example.
Yeah, Olympia was saying that after rook takes f4, b6, rook c4 check, king to b3, and then there was rook to c8, and somehow black still holds. No, not here. Rook c6, I think. Yeah, rook c6.
It's good.
Yeah, this was tough.
e6. And the pawns run. Okay, fine. Got it.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether there's a tricky move like rook a7. Rook a6, sorry. Threatening b7, like king d7, b7. Yeah, which wins, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, eventually I think it's after rook b4, rook b7, rook takes d4, king f2, rook c4 check, king b3. Yeah, I think I don't know if you could have gone king b4, maybe on move 32.
Instead of b6.
Instead of b6, like you kind of want your king to get to the b6 square, and you hope that somehow. I think the critical way for black to play is to take on f4. The com is giving 0.1, but doesn't mean anything. Yeah, I see that JZ Rider likes my rook a6 move. But okay, anyway. Rook c4, king a5. It still looks a bit dangerous.
Looks very passive.
Yeah, very dangerous for black. I wouldn't envy his task.
This was definitely a better try. So, okay, fine. So, rook c8, king b4.
Okay, sorry, where are we? On move.
So, move 32, king b4.
Yeah, king b4.
Rook c4.
Rook c4, king a5.
Kevin, maybe one option that would be even better is play rook a7 first before going forward with the king. So like, because here you are sacrificing a pawn by going king b4 first, right? After rook a7, I'm not sure.
Yeah, fair point.
Even...
Yep. Totally agree. Yeah, there's no need to sacrifice the pawn with rook c4 yet. Like you can wait one move, and you are threatening b6.
b6 is also a threat, or battle king b4 is a threat. I'm not sure like what is black to do.
Yeah, tough. Yeah, very tough rook ending. Thanks for following Chessophile, JZ Rider, and we love chess. Kind of miss your following. Hey Chessophile, have we met? Yeah. So yeah, rook a7 was good. Yeah, I think definitely there are some chances to play for
rook a7. Yeah.
More. Yeah.
Rook a7, maybe rook c1.
Yeah, rook c1, king b4 now.
I think it's not the loss for black. I don't think it should be. You need to start pushing d4 or d3, but I think the white just kind of press the pawn.
So d4?
Just go down with the rook.
b6, right?
No, I don't think you need to start with that. I think you can first capture the pawn, like rook a2 or something.
Rook a2. King d.
I mean, you can go after d4. You can go rook a6, going to d6, which is a bit more active.
I do. I mean, I prefer to a2 because it also protects the
7th
pawns. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I get rook d6 in time, then then I just push the B pawn, right?
Yep.
Hey Niranjan, thanks for watching, thanks for following. Yeah, rook d6. Yeah, rook a2 also looks very, very possible as well. Yeah, I also
So
quite
rook
I
a2,
also quite like this.
king d7.
So I should switch this off. King d7,
Take the pawn.
rook d2, king c7. I think that's what the Ravi had in mind.
Yeah.
And rook takes d4. There is no rook c2 because rook c4 check wins. So basically, I want to go rook c4 the next move.
And is it winning? It's definitely a much better try. So rook
Yeah,
d2,
you
king c7.
you cannot hope for more than this from that initial position.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking that maybe we can even improve it with like after black plays king d7, can go like king a5 first, instead of going for the pawn, just march with your king. So
It's probably winning.
I think it must be winning for white.
It must be winning, yeah.
Yes, I kind of missed what you just said, but
No, it must be winning. I think it looks.
king b6, I go rook d6 check.
No, I was going back before, like when black started marching with the king d7. My idea was like, don't forget the pawn, just go king a5 first, king a6.
So king a5 and d3 is never a problem because of rook to d2.
Yes. And at the same time, I'm much more comfortable with my king in front of the pawn. So
yeah, and if I go king c7, you go king a6.
Yes.
Threatening king a7, and you just roll with the pawn.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably it has to win. The king so passive on b8 that there's no point. Yeah, I don't think there's a need to analyze this further. With the king on b8 and the king on b6, the difference in activity, kind of nullifies any need to even continue the discussion, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was rook
Mhm.
a7 was a good try, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I think I can conclude of the 4 draws. Were there 4 draws? I think there were 4 draws.
Yeah, there were 4 draws.
It's 2 and 1, probably.
So maybe you were worse against Chongi and against Brendan, yeah?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
the other
okay.
2.
I mean, they had to find moves to win, and they didn't, so...
As I didn't in these other 2 games as well.
Yeah.
But result, I think, in the end.
Yeah, eventually, yeah, I think the final result was kind of fair in the sort of the way it concluded. Yeah, so we covered Pretty Viraj, the games against Brendan, against Grand Hacker, and then the one against Coding is fun. I think you just landed a piece.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I was winning and I relaxed. I was winning and I just landed a piece.
Yeah.
Do you think it was winning?
I think it was winning, yeah. Wasn't it?
If not winning, but significantly better, I think. Yeah.
Okay, fine. It was a pawn up.
It was a pawn up, but
But it was some compensation.
We were saying that after d4 there was compensation. It was not easy to play for white. In the
Maybe
position
instead
after
of c4, I should have played queen e2.
yeah, c4 loses, of course. So queen e2,
C4
and then and you there's queen e6 threatened, but I can go bishop takes g2, king g2, and I don't know, dc3.
Maybe it's not as clear as I thought it was.
No, it's better for white, I feel, but I wouldn't say that white was
No,
winning.
it's not winning. It's clear. It's better for white, but it's not.
Because there's always some risk that your queen side liquidates, and then you end up with, say, 3 pawns on the king side versus
Without
2.
enough material.
And yeah, it might be a draw in many of these cases.
And then he was just winning at some point, but he blunted a piece.
basically after c4, knight e3 was just just a piece up,
Yeah.
and then towards the end, the very bizarre move.
You dropped the bishop on f6, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was bizarre. But okay.
But even before that, I think like black started giving pawns. Like there was no point to give a pawn on d2.
He started
Yeah.
exchanging pawns.
Yeah, he
and
was
should have
exchanging-
kept as many as possible.
And exchanging pawns, I think that was also kind of a question.
Yeah.
I mean, I was already starting to think there might be some chances, some small chances. Because I was thinking I could play h5 and try and date a bit further. If I somehow exchange rooks, the pawns of the wrong color. So,
Yeah. So we were saying that we want to take these 2 pawns off, the E and the G, and he sort of volunteered it. Like he played E5, like making it easy, and then
Yeah.
now you just have to swap the G6 pawn, and if you take the G6 pawn off, even with rooks, I think it's drawn. So
No, with the rooks, it's not drawn.
are you sure?
Actually, even like h against h would be lost.
Like I remember that there's some kind of winning technique, but it's
it would have
very
been a nightmare for him to do.
very difficult to yeah. Like actually, it's sort of easy for white to defend. Like you put the king on the light squares, and then you just try to make moves.
Yeah. I was thinking I would somehow get h5 in, and then I would like I was getting optimistic about holding it.
Yeah, but okay, blundering with rook b8 kind of makes life a lot easier.
Yes.
To put it mildly. Yep. So, very good result. I think at the end, score of 10-2. I think. Thanks very much for joining us. And do you have any comments? Anything you might like to share? And what are your general thoughts about the charity drive?
No, I mean, look, I think thank you so much for having me. It's a great initiative, and thanks for organizing this with me. I think all of us, and I especially am thankful that there's some chance that I have to contribute. I think it's a wonderful thought that you're doing, and I feel so helpless sometimes sitting at home when so much is going on. So I'm very, very glad that there was this chance to do something. All of you played me, thank you for the games, and if you enjoyed them, please do contribute. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and it's much needed at this time.
Yeah, thanks very much for the very kind comments. Today actually there was an article on FIDE that featured our initiative, so that was kind of nice. And also a big thank you for our for my co-commentators. I think FIDE Master Andrei Terakov and I am, and Dr. Suliyang for spending their precious Sunday afternoon, full 3 hours. So thanks very much for
watching me blunder.
Everyone got to see.
Thank you so much for this.
No,
It's been great fun.
at some point it became very, very entertaining when Chonggi was online with his wine, and we are not sure whether he was drunk at some point, and so it became very.
I can actually hold Chungi. He got drunk.
Yeah, so I think we have come to the end. Next week we have 2 big ones coming up, like really big ones.
No, go ahead. Psycho. Nothing.
I think is that Ethan, Liang?
Sure.
Yeah, and so firstly, next Saturday we have Grandmaster Daniel Fernandez, who's based in the UK primarily, but who has also contributed, volunteered to contribute his time for this initiative. He became a good chess player when he was here in Singapore. So he became an IM here and became a GM when he eventually moved back to the UK. But he has kindly offered his time. So that's Saturday at 2 p.m. Singapore time, and then on Sunday we have Singapore versus Kazakhstan, a 20 player versus 20 player age group category event, and we will have Grandmaster Rinat Jumabayev joining me in commentary. He's 26-54, the highest rated Kazakh player in history, a great player, very kindly agreeing to join me in commentary. So more details will be